Hey, good evening, everybody. Another calf update, and we're all here to enjoy it. Thank you so much for being here as always. It's been a very busy week here at Calf HQ. Not much for Maureen. She's been doing a lot of things around the house, still getting ready for our event here in just over a week. But I've been very busy. Just lots of crazy stuff going on, starting with that amazing match on Monday. That was a great fun, and I have to say it is now the highest selling show for an amateur dueling dealer event. I think it beat out the second match between Jordan and Dino by just maybe $400. So that was a pretty crazy evening, and a lot of good art was sold that evening. And I can't thank everybody enough, let alone the four gentlemen who helped make that show absolutely spectacular. I had a great amount of fun doing it. Although I say I had a lot of fun, and I'll tell you, that was one of the roughest shows I think I've ever done. I don't know, how it comes off to everybody. I walked in after the show to Maureen, and I'm like, how did that look? Because I felt completely off the whole night, and just it wasn't normal, right? And she was like, it was fine, it was great. What are you talking about? And for me, trying to run a show with five of us on screen, swapping screens around, having to look down at notes, looking at four different people's stuff was difficult. And as Jason says, yeah, you screwed it all up. Well, if it wasn't for you, Jason, and the other three gentlemen, pulling me through to the finish line, maybe we wouldn't have ended up where we ended up. But hi, Mikhail. But yes, okay, it was a fun show. I agree, it was a fun show, but that's one of the shows I probably will never go back and watch because the whole time I was very uncomfortable. It was just not normal. It wasn't a normal show, but I enjoyed it. I mean, at the end of the day, we did do very well, and congrats to those four guys to setting a new record. Was it worse than the Cap Mask show? In a weird way it was, Michael, just because, again, it was just, I couldn't follow everything like I normally follow. If I feel like I'm in charge and really kind of on top of things, and through that whole show, I never really felt comfortable, like I had control over what was going on in the show and when it was going to happen. And I should have. I mean, they the guys put together 20 plus memes and everything, but it still just threw me off. And Aranga is now the if there was ever a heartthrob on the channel, it is Aranga, because he his meme is now legendary. So I don't know if we should play that again someday if we ever have the Legion of Dr. Doom on. But what do we say? Bill only likes it with 3. Any more makes him nervous. Thank you, Marcus. That is very, very true. Yes, everybody loved Aranga's meme. It will go down in history as one of our most memorable memes ever. So, but I wonder, did Jason come up with that idea, or did Aranga approach him and say, hey, I got this great idea for a meme for you to play during that tag team match? Would either of you guys like to let us know who came up with that idea? But anyway, yeah, I mean, we definitely would do it again, but it was a 5-ring circus. There you go. That is exactly what it felt like for me anyway. Okay, Jason says he's the brains. So, oh boy. Well, Jason, I think we all probably would have rather seen Aranga dressed in that attire versus you. So a good choice on that, at least as far as the casting goes. And somebody's popping me over here on Facebook. I'm going to mute that conversation so I don't have to keep having this thing remind me something's going on. But anyway, there we go. Blah, blah, blah. Trying to mute it for a few hours so I don't have to listen. Okay. So so that was fun. I mean, we'll obviously everybody in the audience enjoyed it. I've now got a muscle shirt, so I can do a lot of different memes that I couldn't do before. Yeah, there you go. Jason sent me a briefcase of money and a case of chocolate PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon chocolate flavored is nothing to sneeze at. That is for sure. I've still never tried it myself, but I know, Aranga, that you do like it. I had something funny beer wise the other day. Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll save that for another show. Cybrosio. Yes, see, Jeff Wedding says that Jason, maybe next time you should do the dressing up. Oh, for $1,000. But you wouldn't do that at San Diego, though, I don't believe. Oh boy. Anyway, but yes, it was a good show, and and again, cool to see that that amount reached on a regular, essentially a regular or irregular Dueling Dealers episode. We haven't really seen 60,000 plus shows in a long time, but great art always brings out high sales shows. Jeff, it's going to take a long time for you to do that, sir. But yeah, and then I got to have Kazra on Tuesday. That was a lot of fun. He and I, of course, have known each other for a very long time, and we talked a lot after the show about some side projects and things that we'd like to do together. And just he was giving me pointers on some stuff that I've been researching and looking into. So it was definitely an enjoyable conversation with him. And of course, last night's show was fun. Mike did rather well, of course, but it was it was a regular Dueling Dealers episode, but we did do all those reruns. But I had like 3 people email me today that really enjoyed seeing those old classic memes from like a year and a half ago. It was good to dust those off and show them again. So anyway, what else I got for you? Today is going to be, I think, a quicker show than usual because I really don't have a ton of things to specifically go over. As everybody knows, the voting's over on Best Of. I have not looked to see which pieces have won. I was going to do that tomorrow, just to get a feel for, what are the top 5 pieces from all the categories, which one's the top winner. This weekend, my son and I will start putting together the video clips that help us show which are the award winners, which, of course, we're going to do the presentation on Tuesday. So I've got my work cut out for me to kind of pull all that together. But, as always, I'm sure it's going to be a stellar group of artworks that we're going to show. Bill said, quick show, 6 more weeks of updates. Yeah, there you go. It is Groundhog Day, everybody. Anyway, what else can I say about that? But I actually checked the Best of voting about midway through on it, and only on a couple of the categories, and I really did it just to make sure things were working properly, and they were. So again, I'm as curious as you are to see which pieces have made it to the top. But as far as Best Of, though, just sit tight, and I put the link out there numerous times, but be sure put it on your calendar. Tuesday night at 9, we'll have a Best Of celebration, and hopefully a few special guests for that one that I'm trying to work out. And then we will also do the official birthday party for CAF, although that was yesterday. We hit the 20-year mark, of course, but I like to celebrate it during the Best Of. It's just it's more fun to do it on that night. And so I'll have a little shot or something to take at the end of the show. So try to prep me for another year. Yes. I haven't talked about the upcoming stuff yet, Jason, but since you mentioned it, yes, we are having a sketchbook show on Monday that is going to be hosted by James Siegel. I'm sure I will be in the show in some way or another. I mean, James is in charge, but I know that I'm going to probably be there as technical assistant. And we've got some panelists. They're going to be going over the sketchbook submissions from January. I believe there's 4 people on the panel. Each person's picked their favorite, or I'm not sure if they're favorites, but they picked 4 pieces of art that they want to talk about. And you in the audience get to kind of vote on the pieces that they've picked. And essentially one piece will come out as being the most relevant, popular of all the pieces that they pick. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. And the first of at least 12 shows this year, because we're going to do them each month after the sketchbook closes. Jason says that James is middle managing the CRAP out of it. Yes, he is. But that's what you got to do when you come up with your own show, and you have to kind of get things, keep things in line, come up with new rules on formulas for how something's going to work. But James, he did a rather fantastic job with the collector conversations. There is nothing else like it out there that we did. And I'm very proud that we got 20 consecutive episodes out of that show. And it was all James doing for pulling that all together. So if anybody can pull some good content together, it is James. Oh, that's right. I did see that. Jason said the winner should get a Moidoc shirt. We can probably work that out, or a shirt of their choice out of the store. How's that? I don't know. That way they don't have to take Moidoc if they really don't want to wear Albert on on their chest. But let's see. So yeah, that's the schedule. We can talk about the schedule in a little bit. Why don't we open up some packages here, since we're kind of talking about best of, or wrapping up talking about best of. I do have a package here that was sent to me by my uncle. And as everybody knows, my uncle lives in Texas. He's been retired for 5 years or so, but he's into 3D printing. So last year we had him 3D print the the best of 2021 award, and we didn't come up with anything new this time, so he went ahead and did these the Thor hammers for me again. But this time around, he did change like the filament used. So what we're going to see here are, at least I think what we're going to see here, are some colored versions of the awards, which is cool, because last year I had to paint the hammer and I had to paint the award emblem, and he used some gold filament for the emblem, and he used a black on the end of the Thor hammer, and then he painted the actual handle on the hammer, which I was expecting to do, but he did it for me. So I guess I'll have to send him a little extra money. But and maybe he's watching tonight. I told him if he wanted to see how I react to them, that he should tune in. So let's see here. And there you have it. How do you like that? Not too shabby. Yeah, that gold actually comes out pretty good. I'm a little shocked. Huh. I like it. Well, I hope everyone likes it as well. There you go. Take a look at that. All right. Thank you, Uncle Mark. You have come through for me again. So, yes, so I've got a whole box of them, and that looks awesome. All right. Now, I did get one other box. It arrived today. I was not expecting this box. I don't even know if I can put it on my lap because it is massive, but I will see what I can do here. This one came from Brian Norton. It did. Thank you, Brian, Mr. Red Jack, saying they came out nice. Jason says he needs one of these. I am paying for votes next year. Yeah, that might be an interesting way for CAF to raise some money, right? to have people solicit, through micropayments, votes, so that they can get a trophy next year. Okay, so here you go. This is the big package here from Mr. Brian Norton, and he told me to be careful cutting it open. I'm going to try. I hear a lot of peanuts rolling around in there. So let's see. But yeah, well, I've got other things I can tell you about too. But yeah, I saw this sitting on the porch today, and I thought, what did Maureen buy? Because we're always buying new stuff for the house, and I figured the size of this box could not be something that would be for me. All right, and I can't see it. There's a lot of peanuts on the top here, but there is a card in it. Let's see. All right, it says, welcome home. And let me see. It's to Bill and Maureen and family. Congratulations on finding a new place to call your own. Here is an Irish blessing for your new home. To friend and to rover, that's a greeting. That's Irish as Irish can be. It means you are welcome 1,000 times over, wherever you come from, whosoever you be. So best wishes and many happy years of happiness, Brian Norton. And the card has a house on it. So I'll take that message off from Jason. So he doesn't give anybody else ideas about paying for votes. And I think I'm going to put this on the ground because it is big on the inside. Let's see here. No. Oh, Brian, you shouldn't have. Oh boy, we're gonna have a mess in here because there's peanuts everywhere. Oh boy. Yep. Yeah, this is gonna be a mess. Okay. You guys can't see this yet, right? Okay. All right. Let's get these out of here. Boy, I'm going to need that. The maid's going to have to work overtime in here after that. What do we got here? It says, hello, Bill. I thought you might want this as a keepsake to add to that Bill Cox Comic Art Museum, along with the Billigan hat and the Hulk pearls. Well, I'll leave that on there for the moment. Here you go, everybody. Oh boy, the crotch goblin has made an appearance and will forever be on the back wall here. I'll find a space on the shelf for it. And here I thought, Brian, you were going to keep this and we could film some segments with you as the crotch goblin. But I guess when we're in need of a crotch goblin segment, I could always break it out of the glass and and wear it myself. It isn't a skull. It isn't a skull. That is for sure. Wow. See, there's too much light in here reflecting on that, but that's almost frightening, isn't it? Oh boy. Let's see. Yep. January 9th, 2023, Wheeling and Dealing with Anthony Snyder, the first live appearance of the crotch goblin. Oh, Brian, thank you so much. Maureen is going to be so thrilled to see this. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Yes, but now I got to be able to clear out some of these peanuts here because they are everywhere. But it was well packed, Brian. No glass was broken. Oh, that is a housewarming gift, isn't it? It's going to stay in my office. Oh my goodness. Wow. That was very Jason saw him walking around in it. Yes. What you're saying, Brian, when you bought it, you bought one for Anthony as well. We should make Anthony wear that for a whole show. Like I had to wear that cap mask. Oh my goodness. But thank you so much for that. And that reminds me, I actually was going to upload some photos that I forgot about. Where did I put those? Because I could show those now. They're very appropriate. Let's see. I'll show this. Well, actually, I got two here. First one. Look at that. There is Jason himself posing with the crotch goblin. I wonder if Jason made an offer on that wonderful piece of art to see him to hang on his wall. But I don't know. He probably likes seeing it at Anthony's place more than at his own. But thank you, Jason, for sharing that. I bet you didn't know you'd get to see it again here tonight on the show. And what was the other photo I got? Here it is. This was a photo of Anthony paying both Fish and Jason their checks for the amateur dueling dealer purchases that he made that I did see were they all on his website already? At least one or two of them were. At any rate, hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles when you don't get the pieces. But he did get some good art, right? He picked up the McFarlane and two pieces from Fish. So there is living proof that Anthony can write a check. And I'm assuming, guys, that it did not, neither of them bounced or anything bad like that. The money is safely in your bank accounts. Oh my goodness. Anyway, but yeah, that crotch goblin photo, that's great. But now I've got one to sit right on the. Every time I look at that thing, it's staring at me. It's very unnerving. I hate to say it. We're going to have it sitting back there. And I tell you, everybody, it's going to be looking at you the whole time. So if it gives you nightmares or something, don't blame me. You can blame Brian. Gosh, that is so, I'm telling you, it is looking right. I've got to turn him around. It's like somebody staring at the back of my head if I don't do that. All right. That's better. Oh boy. Oh yeah. So never switch the lights off again. You're right, Tariq. I will not. Anthony's checks have always worked for Jeff. So there you go. I'm sure Fish and Jason are safe. Oh boy. So I actually didn't really write a script for tonight either, but so I go over the few things that we've got going on that I can talk about right now. Of course, I can remind everybody about the Kickstarter going on for the Dueling Dealers covers that we've got. There's still, we didn't gain one subscriber after last night's show, so we're still, or not subscriber, Kickstarter backer. So we're still at 30. We should get to 100, everybody, before the end of the show. You can buy a one comic. You don't have to buy all three. And so please support it. Remember, Nick Barucci is helping us out with this, pulling it all together. and we got 3 weeks to go on this thing. So my goal would be to see us hit 100 people buying, whether it's a set or a single or whatever. And of course, there's sketch cover options in there and some sketch card options, all that fun stuff. So give it a shot. And if you have any questions, you can always email me. If you're not familiar with using Kickstarter, it's rather simple. And the comic book fulfillment will all be done by Dynamite too. So you don't have to worry about me shipping your comics. The people who are probably best suited for shipping comics like that will be handling all of the fulfillment for this Kickstarter. And I think I linked it in the show description. I can't remember, but I'll throw it in the chat if I didn't, because I don't remember before things got going here what I did or didn't do. But yes, they're well, the rewards are different stuff. Yeah, you can get 3 signed copies. You can add on sketch covers by Ken Hazer or from Sharon, and there's some sketch card options where you'll get randomly a sketch card from one of the 4 of us. And like I said, there's a couple different versions of the comic books as well, whether there's the color version and then there's like a black and white version that looks like the original art. So that is a good question, Nick Barucci. How do we have only 36 likes when we have 79 people watching? I do not know. I do not know. So, but please support the Kickstarter. You'll make Nick and I proud, and and the whole team. We do these things for the enjoyment of it and to put some keepsakes out there. I mean, you can send me stuff all the time. I try to send stuff out there too, but this is one of those opportunities where you got to pay a little bit for it, but it'll be worth it. And especially signed. If you don't get it, you can buy unsigned versions, and it would be awesome to have somebody bring these comics up to me and have me sign them in person. I did that for several people in San Diego last year for the first comic book that Nick did for me that was just for Comic Art Live and had the Vampirella on it. So, and if you missed it, I did hang that artwork of mine on the wall already. Was the middle comic. Oh man. Mr. Easy Go Lucky, thank you so much. And yep, they'll be I think we kind of put in there March. So I know that Nick turned the other ones around it seemed like less than 30 days after close. So we'll definitely have the books in hand by the end of March for everybody who picked any of those up. Gosh, man, I'm telling you, I don't have a weekly flip today. I don't have anybody in the queue to do a weekly flip. So if you're interested in doing one, then ping me at, you can hit me, Bill at Comic Art Fans always works. Go through the support form on CAF, but I'd like to get a weekly flip for next week. So anybody who's got the nerves to do one, go ahead and do it. They were fun. I hope everybody enjoyed seeing the full version of Michael Lovett's flip from last week. I was only able to show 10 minutes on the show last Thursday, but we had the whole 30-minute flip, which had some great Perez art in it, things you didn't get to see during the show last week. Mr. Easy Go Lucky. All right, that's there you go. That would be fine. And like Nick says, back this to have Bill, Anthony, Sharon, and Mike in your collection. Exactly. This could be the outside of those trading cards we did. This would be the only opportunity to have a comic book that is going to have all of us on it. I know, Jeffrey. See, that's how I felt too. But I don't really make too many appeals for people sending in weekly flips. So I that's why I'm doing it now. I should always remind everybody here that we'd like to have the weekly flips because they're you guys stepping in and being a part of the show. Sergio says, greetings from Peru. Greetings back to you, Sergio. Thank you for joining tonight. Ram, you should, man. Come on, a full-on Hawkman flip would be good. We don't really we've only done one. Is there one themed flip that we've done in the past? I think that was Derek's. So, yeah. That would be cool. A straight Hawkman flip with lots of various artists would be very good. And and Michael enjoyed it as well. Time to take out I actually could do that because in preparation for the get together here at my house on next Saturday, I actually took the majority of the artworks out of my Itoyas and sort of organized them so that I didn't look like a fool when I'm showing off pieces of art from my collection. So I tried to, I've got an X-Men published folder. I've got an X-Men unpublished folder. I've got, and I did those for Jason, who's not coming. I thought he was coming, but, and then anyway, it's organized now. So I could actually do a flip that made sense to everybody. That's right. There was a Black Panther flip. Thank you, Josh. I forgot about that one. That was from Khalil, I believe. Let's see. Maybe I can turn this weekend into a split. Yep. Matt Kennedy, you could do that. Matt's going to be on a Pro-Am show with Anthony on the 13th of February, not too far out. And a dramatic reading would be nice. We got to get one. I have one I want to do now. Yeah. See, there's lots of stuff. And that's okay, Jason. I don't know why. I felt like when James sent me, when he told me he was coming, I thought he mentioned your name as well. So, it's okay. But let me go ahead and show the schedule. Some stuff I wanted to bring up and remind everybody about what we got coming up here. So as Jason had me remind everybody earlier, next Monday I've got the sketchbook show. Next Tuesday will be the best of 2022 presentation of all the greatest artwork collected from last year. We'll get to see the winners from all 11 categories, and of course bestow awards on several select CAF members as well. And we'll officially celebrate CAF's 20th anniversary on that day. Then I am taking next Thursday off so I can go to the Frank Frazetta pop-up show in Orlando with Maureen. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. Mr. Berkey is actually flying into town that night, so I'll be at the art show, and then I'll be picking him up and bringing him back here. But I'm looking forward to it. It's being done by the Frazetta Museum, who are in Sarasota, and I'm not quite sure how this got organized, but it's at a restaurant, and they have they actually were charging people in these hour slots, like 6 to 7, 7 to 8. And we get to go in there at 9, I guess, after all the paid tours are done. We're part of like a VIP group that gets to kind of go in there afterwards. So that'll be cool. And I've never met Sarah Frazetta, so I'll get to meet her at the show. So we will do a brief CAF update on that Friday evening, the night before the Florida meetup. So I guess Berkey might be milling about in the background while I do that one. Who knows? Maybe some other people who are in town might show up as well. So that could be a fun night. The Florida meetup will not be broadcast. I can tell you that. It's just going to be a fun show for, show and hangout for everybody where we're looking at art. I did get word from Jimmy and Amanda that something else has come up with their schedule. So they will not be able to attend, but they promised me that they would come out to a future one. So I'm planning on doing meetups at my place probably every 6 months or so. So hopefully I can get them to come out in whenever that would be. What is that? Late summer. We'll see. Summer might be too hot. Maybe I got to wait till the fall. But then, as I mentioned, we'll have a Pro-Am match between Anthony and Matt Kennedy on Monday the 13th. And that's going to be a 15 rounder with 2 artworks per round, and very few memes, but I can tell you the banter is going to be in the live presentation between Anthony, Matt, and Sharon. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am taking Valentine's night off, not to have a date with Maureen, because we never do anything for Valentine's Day, but I figure, that's a night when everybody should just hang out with their significant other and not be hanging out with me. So I would encourage you all to do something that night that is not comic art related, if you can help it. I'll be doing a art sale show with Claus Jansen on Saturday the 18th. I've got Tony Fleeks on what is that? That's a Monday for we're just chatting, no art for sale or anything like that. And then I've got art sales with Mannix, Christian Gossett, and then a Mike Berkey website offer sale show. I'll have Adam Law, the master of the dramatic readings, on Tuesday the 28th, Dinesh and Zatari on the 7th, which is a Tuesday. I'm going to be going to the Frazetta Museum for that George Pratt, James Martin exhibit on the 13th. I've got a Hakes preview on the 14th. And newly added, I can tell you I am doing a art sale show with Mr. Steve Rude on March 4th. That I'm sure will be interesting. And I've also got Howard Chaikin and Dan Brereton and Mike Oming throughout March and April. Dan has been sending me, he's doing all I can say is my goodness. He has been sending me these, showing me his progress, because he's doing specialty pieces for this. And he'll have a few covers and special pinups that have been published already. But Dan is like slaying it. Literally every single way. I think there are maybe 9x12 or 11x14 painted pieces, but he is he's killing it. He sent me. I'm not even going to tell you what the 2 characters he sent me, but I've always loved Brereton's work, and the 2 pieces he sent me today, I want to buy them both. And he sent, it's like he sent me 2 pieces last week, and they were killer too. So Dan's, I mean, I always hope everybody's going to sell out, but Dan's show, I think, could be a sellout because the stuff he's pulling together for that thing are unbelievable and all custom made for the show. So yeah, it's going to be pretty darn amazing. But yeah, Steve Rude shouts Chuck Arnold. That's going to be interesting. I've only talked to Steve one time, and I bet you it was probably like 2005 at a San Diego con, and we had a good chat as I recall, but haven't talked to him since. And you know, he's I don't know, I'm not even sure how he came through Jim McLaughlin, and Jim said that I could probably do a good job, sell some art for him, and I intend to do that. And I think I left one thing. Oh yeah, just the last two. I've got Randy House in March and Sam Maroney in March as well. So super full schedule that I've got. I mean, I was talking with somebody wanted some space on the show, and I was like, I was scrolling through the schedule. I'm like, shoot, I don't have an opening on certain time slots until May. So, I mean, I guess it's good to be busy, but yeah, it's going to be fun. And he is a great artist, Chuck. I love Steve Rude's stuff. He's absolutely amazing. And as everybody remembers, Mikhail bought the first piece of art shown on the Dueling Dealers of Comic Art, and it was a Steve Rude piece. So yeah, I should tell him that. He broke the ice entirely for our entire show. So that was pretty awesome. Let's see. Matt says he hosted a exhibition for Steve a few years ago, and he was a great, humble guy. I'm looking forward to it, Matt. I really am. I mean, I've always enjoyed Steve's work, and yeah, this is something I'm looking forward to. And I can tell you, I've got at least 2 other interview sale shows in the queue that I can't talk about because we've not like finalized dates and times and that kind of thing. But some other nice big surprises there. This past, well, really, yeah, pretty much the past week, I've spent a lot of time thinking about and figuring out what what that February 2024 thing down here in Florida is going to look like. And I can't talk really about anything yet, but I can tell you that it's going to be pretty amazing. And if you want, you should start thinking about blocking out the weekend of February 17th and 18th of 2024, because there will be our first event down here in the Orlando area, and all I can say is it's going to be amazing. It's really I'm just kind of floored by some of the responses I've gotten, and as I kind of try to pull together what I want to do with my first event down here. So it's going to be great. And so I'm just telling you right now, put it on your calendar. Just plan on coming to Orlando in 2024, the weekend of the 17th and 18th. And of course, you want to be, that's Saturday and Sunday, but there'll be something that happens on Friday evening as well. So I would assume most people who are traveling would probably be coming in Friday night anyway, but there will be something going on Friday night, and we'll have Saturday and Sunday as well. So it's going to be pretty and Nick was one of the people that I had conversations with. That's why this has been a long week, because I feel like I've spent like 3-4 hours on the phone at least 5 or 6 days this week, just trying to go over some things. But Nick, you won't believe the 2 people that I got, and I'm just blown. I mean, it's humbling to actually have the opportunity to have a couple guests of their caliber at a first time art fest, or what do you want to call it, art show. I haven't decided. I don't know if it's going to be falling under the Comic Art Live banner, or the CAF banner, or if it needs a new banner. I have no idea. But at any rate, it's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, Nick, maybe we can talk tomorrow. I could let you know what I've got lined up. It's awesome. At any rate, please block out that weekend, because as soon as I can finalize where I'm going to have it, which is really, I think that's the biggest hurdle at the moment, is that I've got two places that I'm going to be looking at this weekend. I think after I see those places and talk to the venues there, I'll have a firm place where I want to commit to, and hopefully once I get the agreement signed, then I'll make some formal, proper announcements. No cameras allowed. You guys, borrow those tents. I could, no, Marcus, no tents. I'm not going to do an event out in the backyard at my place, although I have the space. I do have the space, but no, this will be in town, close to the airport, close to all the fun. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Oh boy. But yeah, more conversations on that going tomorrow. But other than that, what else did I have planned for you guys? I think. Oh, here. Remember, I've got a couple things. Now, I've kind of teased the idea that that artwork that arrived damaged a few weeks. Well, it was about a month ago now, I guess. Remember that piece of art, that science fiction painting that the package was crushed and bent. And fortunately, when I cut it open, where the major crease was, it was really only coming into about a half inch into the art. Now, the main thing that I saw after that was that there was actually paint flaking in a couple spots where the crease was. It was funny because it was actually in one of the colors. It was almost like, like this burnt umber color didn't have as strong an adhesive quality in it as the green or the brown beside it. It was odd because it was just this one color in that spaceship that where the paint came up right in a straight line. So I found a conservator literally in my backyard of all places. I Googled, art restoration near me, and it literally said there was a art restorer in Umatilla. And it turns out she's not in Umatilla, but that's kind of like an address she uses. I offered to drive it to her, but apparently people who do serious art restoration don't like you to know where they do their work because they have good stuff there, right? So she drove by today and met with me, and her name was Alexandra Von Hawk, and she's a certified art restoration person. So she's overqualified in ways, but she's was very nice to talk to. I mean, she's probably going to cost me twice as much or as the places that we're used to going to or hearing about, because I did ask for a price on it from one of the regular guys that do this work, and she was twice the amount. But when I thought about shipping this artwork because of how large it was, I thought, I might as well start a relationship with somebody here. And so when I emailed with her, I asked her some questions, and so when she came here, she went over a lot of stuff with me. But she's going to do this in a way that is typically done when you're having art restoration done on a piece of your work, and that is, I mean, it was funny. She had me sign an agreement today that was literally just to take the art to her house, not even to do the work. And she said that after she really gets it on the table and knows what she's going to do, she's going to send me a bulleted list of what she's going to do to it, and that's what I have to sign off on before she'll actually do the work. And so she's really by the book. And I asked her, are you, I've read a lot about art restoration. Are you actually going to go through and document each step of the process? Usually they do that by taking photographs of before and after what they do, and essentially it's like a spreadsheet, but they'll be having notes about, this is what I'm doing at this step, and this is what it looked like. This is what I'm doing at that step, and this is what it looks like. Because in that, if you remember, the art was on mat board, and there was already a small amount of water damage on it. So there was a part that had puckered and bubbled in outside of the artwork, and then the crease ended up going right through that. So that whole area, the mat board, which is just layer and layer and layer of paper, had come apart. Especially the top layer where the art was loose. So she was going through the whole process. She's going to deacidify the board. She brought out, it was funny, I brought a portfolio out for her to look at, and she was testing some of my older comic art and saying, yep, this one needs deacidified one day. I guess there's I'm gonna pick up a few things and try to educate myself too, but it was just a marker. You kind of draw it in the corner, and if it turns purple, there's no acid in the paper, but if it stays yellow, you've got acid in the paper. So she tested a few pieces of art of mine, and all the old pieces she tested all had acid in them. So she's not only going to fix the artwork, but she's going to deacidify it and touch up the paint areas where the damage was. So and she went over a lot of stuff. She used to work for Sotheby's, and I mean, she has a huge list of businesses and auction houses that she's worked with. She's done some work in comic strips, but not anything on published comic art. So she was looking at this like it didn't scare her at all. I mean, she's repaired, restored, maps that are falling apart. She said she's done comic books. People have brought her comic books that she's had to take the whole things apart, polish the staples, and put it all back together. So a woman with a whole lot of conservation experience. But I took a picture of her. I was like, hey, because what I asked her was, okay, you're going to document all that. can I get all the photographs when you're done? And when you deliver it to me, can we do like a 20-minute interview with, we won't do it live, we'll record it. And I want you to go over everything. Jeff, you would have loved this woman too. She actually was kind of giving me grief about some of the Mylar I had, even and stuff I thought was okay. She was like, she was talking about the off gassing and all this other stuff. And so she wasn't, she was like, you need to do things differently. So she was kind of trying to teach me ways to improve the way I store my artwork. So it'll be an interesting chat that I record with her. But so here she is. This is Alexandra von Hawk, and her significant other, I guess. His name was Kevin. He's a glass blower too. So apparently, and he showed me some of his work that he had on photos on his phone, and he's freaking amazing. If you ever watch any of those glass blowing shows on TV, he's like of that caliber. He told me, he's like, because we watch the shows. I don't watch them a lot as my daughters do, but they do. And he's like, I know everybody on those shows. I mean, he goes, I used to work in Chicago. We moved out here like 20 years ago, but he's like a master glass blower. And she's trained in Russia from art conservators. And so she's not afraid of anything. She's like, I'm just going to do everything. And so, yeah, you'll effectively get to meet her. But I asked her, like, so how long does this thing take? And it sounds like it probably is like a 3-4 month process, because she said that the way the art is damaged, where it was bent, it basically is puckered up. The top layer is spread out. So she's got to like tighten the actual fibers of the paper to pull it all back down. And then she's, and then deacidifying it. So it's going to be a process. It's not going to be fixed overnight. And Mikhail, I love glass blowing too. I mean, every time we go to the medieval fair, that's where the girls and I tend to gravitate towards. And, but I said, does he ever do lessons? Because I'd love to just take the girls and see what, watch them work. And so it's cool to meet them. We were in talking with them. I'm like, wow, this is the first artisan couple that I've gotten to meet being here in Florida. So I'm kind of glad that I reached out to them. But I did tell her, after we're done, I'll put her name out there as somebody who can, do similar work. I mean, again, it might be a little bit more expensive, but this is somebody who is properly trained in art restoration and has all the right credentials for something like that. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what she comes up with and fixes things. Yes, exactly. Florida is culture up the wazoo. Well, now that I'm here, but that's just it. Seeing, meeting somebody like that. I mean, I talked to her. She was a very cool lady. So anyway, you've got that Black Viper Adorn. You've got it. So yeah, I think that'll be great. But it does seem like it's going to take a little while. She's slow. She's like, I'm just going to do it properly and all that. And hey, we've got another backer tonight on the Kickstarter. Thank you to whomever put that in there. Next up, I actually could show you. Remember, I've been showing off the pencil commissions that Dennis did. Then I told you he sent them over to Bill Sienkiewicz to get them inked. Well, those are all done. Those are actually in the mail. I don't know if Jim McLaughlin sent out the tracking numbers to the 4 recipients of those, but I have them. So I in theory, I guess I should probably send those out. But I know that they're all in the mail right now, and I can show you the final pieces on these. There was the Spider-Man and the Storm, as inked by Bill, and the Huntress and the Elektra. So those are all in the mail, going to their new happy homes. I'm proud to have been a part of that. So it's pretty cool to have gotten those two guys together on camera and to have them complete those soon. Yeah, Nick, exactly. That Elektra looks awesome, man. I'm stoked for you, Eric. You saw your Spider-Man, man. I know that was going to you as well. I don't know if I spilled the beans or anything, but that was Eric's request. Eric was the first of the 4 when the emails got in. So that's how we got lucky. There was like 10 other people that came in after that we didn't take. But yeah, all of those are fantastic, and I'm happy. Because when we went into it, I was like, well, I didn't want to have another show with Dennis until we got those artworks done. And I was thinking, oh man, if it does take longer, then that might stink. But Bill and Dennis were pros and got everything done quickly. So kudos to them, and I can't wait to see the artwork. Oh, Eric okay. Jim McLaughlin's pretty thorough. I had a feeling he would have sent out the tracking numbers. So yeah, Black Viper Adorn. There was a lot of like I said, there. If I went back and looked at the email, because I did get the list of requests that people wanted in case we decided to do something, but for now it's better that we didn't. Just because I didn't get in trouble or anything for that, but because at the end of the day we were like, we're going to get these done. I know Bill and Dennis are going to come through, because they're working together. It's for CAF and Comic Art Live, and they did, and they really did. So I am thrilled. But what else I got going on here? I do think, when we talked about those other art sale shows, I do believe a couple of those artists are actually going to be doing commissions as well. So, gosh, there's an artist who has been off the grid for a while, and I can't mention it yet, I don't think. Let me just see if Jim has emailed me. No. Tomorrow I'm getting a box of art from an artist who's been off the grid for a while because of health reasons. And it's not going to be the most fantastic, fabulous stuff, but all things that I know people are going to be interested in. They'll be affordable, and they're being sent to me because the artist couldn't scan them. But so I'm going to take care of the scanning and whatnot. And I hope to have them. I've got one weekend, a Saturday open in March, and I floated that to Jim a few hours ago, and he has not let me know if we're going to do it. But no, not quite like that, Mikhail. But I'm working on that too, of course. So yeah, I'm going to get this box of art and get to scan it, and hopefully we'll get to have a show with them in March. But it's going to be cool, because what's looking like happening is Third Eye has got some different directions they're heading into. So I believe we've partnered with them the last year and several months, and I think that I'm going to be taking over some of the invoicing and the shipping as well of artwork. They're going to still be doing some of the shows, but I think I'm going to end up getting. I wish it was Dale Keown. It's not Ethan Van Sciver. It's not Larry Stroman. It's not Kelly Jones. Marcus, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't want to say right now just because. But definitely artwork that was done at least 20 years ago, or maybe a little bit older, and so interesting stuff. But yeah, darn it. Maybe if I get an email, I'll let you know, because I'd like to. It's not. I wish it was Bolland. Everybody wants their favorite. Rob wants Barry Windsor Smith. I'd love to do something with Barry Windsor Smith. Darn right, man. That would be awesome. Al Newman, no. Jim Silkey, no. But Jim Silkey would be pretty damn awesome to do a show with. That's for sure. Jim Murray, Ed Hannigan. I did one with Ed Hannigan already, Dustin. Although I would like to do something with Ed Hannigan again, that's for sure. Hembeck, nope. Somebody I'd love to do. Jusko, Jusko. As much as I try, I can't get Jusko on the show. And no, it's not Anthony Snyder. You guys can keep guessing. You'll never guess it. It's not. It's somebody. I mean, no, I just can't give you. You're going to be disappointed when it ends up, you end up seeing what it is, but it won't be. It's good stuff. I saw it because they took photographs of everything and sent me those, and I said I have to have scans. I can't sell photographs of artwork. And Heritage has all of Milgram stuff. I don't know who has Ordway stuff. Is it Aranga stuff? Gosh, guys. But no, I can't tell you. But anyways, I can't tell you until I have it in hand and confirmed. But gosh, you guys got me totally off track now. So what else are we going to talk about? I've already done pretty much everything. Vess is somebody I would definitely enjoy talking with as well. If I am forcing you to guess. I could just tell you, it doesn't matter. What's it matter, right? I was just trying to surprise you guys just to keep it in suspense. It's actually Joe Phillips. So yeah, as many of you may know, he had a few health issues. Oh man, now Crumb would be pretty cool. That would be a show to end all shows. But all right, I told you, Chido. No, it's not Chido, Tony. Although I thought about asking him. Joe Phillips was Jeffrey's next guest. Yeah, so it's Joe, and he's got but yeah, he as I don't know if you knew or you didn't know, he's had some challenges, and but yeah, I kind of got contacted by Jim McLaughlin about helping him. And so, I said definitely I would. And I think there's a lot of art. It's not like typically when we do those shows, there's only, we have like 20 pieces. I think he's sending me about 80 or 90 pieces of art. So I can't tell you what, I mean, I can't say what, I can't say what exactly he's, all of it is. There's some trading card art in there. I can tell you that there's published comic art, and yeah, it's a good selection. But I'll probably, my goal will be to run through it all that day. And again, this is going to be helping a guy who can use some help. I mean, it's coming through Hero in that way. So hopefully we can, sell most of it, and that nothing would make me happier. So it will be a very good show. And Joe definitely deserves it. He's an incredibly talented guy, and I'm here to help where I can. So, but yeah, there's also, is this the Witch Boys guy? Probably some Wildstorm stuff. Yes, Chuck Arnold, I can tell you that. I will confirm that for you. Yes, there is Wildstorm stuff. So yeah, some good stuff in there. But again, I didn't look at it at all. I just because I got sets of photographs, and I was just like, I can't go through this. Just send me the art, and I'll take care of scanning it. Because typically when we were working with Third Eye, the artist was always scanning the art and sending it to them, but now it's going to come to me. So I'll be fulfilling orders from that show when we do it. All right. See, now I'm so far off track, I don't even know where I'm supposed to be here for this show. But outside of that, why don't we can kind of, well, no, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and talk about my heritage picks this week? I raced through it because I literally spent 5 hours on the phone today. So I that's why the mailing went out so late. I didn't get that emailed out to everybody until just before 8 o'clock. So it was a rough afternoon going over a lot of things. No, Nick, thank you. Yeah, when I've got a date confirmed for that, if you can always help mention when that show happens, I would appreciate it, because yeah, it should be good. And again, I appreciate the help wherever you can do it. Any artists appearing at the meetup, Bill? I know, well, I had Jimmy and Amanda coming, but they did bow out today. Bill Morrison is going to be there, and I believe John Beatty is going to be at the meetup here at my house next Saturday. I did not get the confirmation on Beatty, but he was coming with another collector who lives nearby him, so they were going to bring him. Greg Land was potentially coming, but he is not coming out. How many am I expecting? I've had 30 people tell me they're coming out, so it's a pretty, Maureen's sweating it, but it's it is what it is. So what did you want to know, Mikhail? Is Heritage going to run a special in their catalog congratulating the best of winners? No, they will not. No, they will not. But it's a nice thought. That is definitely a nice thought. But it's that's not going to happen. But yeah, 30 is what the number is at today. If everybody shows up, I got a few people emailing me today, even asking if it was still on, that they're thinking about coming out. So, if we can, I was thinking only 20, 25. So if we can get 30, then I will be thrilled to be doing it. But again, don't forget, just mark your calendar right now, February 17th and 18th, 2024. That's the big one. So, I will. I will definitely do that for you, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. Yeah, Bill is he's in town. He's doing a big CGC signing and sketch event thing, which in CGC's main offices are down in Sarasota, I think. And so he's gonna, basically CGC worked around his schedule so he could be here. So that's Bill was like, I'm going to Bill's get together. That's what I want. CGC figure out, if I come in the night before or if I'm do it the next day. So he worked it out with them. I know it may have been well, Dustin, sure, please. I would love to know. I'd send out an invite. Absolutely. Boy, you got a lot of wishes for Heritage. I don't think so. But they, as long as they keep sponsoring things around here that make our hobby fun, that's okay. If they can't do a yacht at San Diego, I'm not going to hold it against him on that one. And I agree with Comic Art Boston about Hero Initiative doing a great job, and Jim definitely as well. He manages it incredibly well. It's a lot of work and a lot of different people he's got to interface with to make the Hero Initiative work on all cylinders, but and make sure the right people get the money that they need. So gosh, yeah, smiley face, Aranga. You got that. You watch out, Aranga. I'll play that meme of yours again. I wanted to thank Derek. I see Derek just said it's only one yacht. I know, but Derek, I've got halfway through the comics that you sent. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying them immensely. I really appreciate that. I think you were the first person to send me a bunch of comics like that. I've gotten a onesie twosies here or there, but getting all of those at once was nice. So I appreciate it. I'm on book 6 right now. So very good. Barack is back in Sarasota. What? Well, then he should be coming over on the 11th. I didn't know that. I thought he was. Where was he last? Well, that's all right. He has to come to my place. I'm putting that, I'm making a note. I'm going to email him after the show. I had no idea. All right. You see, Jeffrey's going blind again, remembering Aranga's meme. So anyway, all right, let me get to my heritage picks here, and I did like it a lot. I really did. I sincerely appreciate it. I meant to text you on Facebook today to let you know that I was really enjoying it. Okay, I got to switch some screens around here so I can actually get to my heritage picks. But where are we at here? Come on. Here we go. So this first piece is an artwork after Chris Snorrick's own heart. Take a look at this. Jim Starlin, Al Milgrom. Speaking of Al Milgrom, Marvel fanfare artwork. Look at that. It's the beginning of a face-off between the Hulk and the Thing. And I mean, it's okay storytelling, but it's the Hulk and the Thing. So I mean, I love it. Who doesn't like Starlin? But I always like Milgrom, whether he's inking or penciling. And I like this page. Like, you got the thigh gap there to show the Thing. I mean, come on, this is classic. This is like an old Western, right? I mean, look, that is really nice. And what do we got there? Well, oh yeah, you get Hulk will smash. So yeah. Look at that. He's almost given him a Thing finger because he's only got 4. Come and get it. I don't know. See, I like this page even more. I didn't read it before. I looked at it just for the art. But yeah, nice page in there. I think it was one of the higher priced pieces in the auction at the time that I scrolled through it. And once again, I didn't get that piece of art I bid on last week. I did bid it up a little bit, but it went higher than I was willing to go. And I also placed some bids on stuff today. And every piece I bid on, once again, I'm not the high bidder, so disappointed in that. But what am I going to do? What are you going to do? You sometimes just take what you can get. But this is a Howard Chaykin Al Milgrom again, Micronaut double page spread from issue 16. I wish there wasn't this. I don't know, why wouldn't they join it when they put this image together? I thought that was kind of silly, but because it kind of breaks up the coolness of this piece, all the depth of the characters. I mean, I love Marion up close, and it's a really nice splash page. But if they would have just merged the images, it would feel so much better. But I mean, Chaykin, I didn't even know Chaykin did work on the Micronauts. Maybe this is like the only issue he did, but he's adding a little touch here to this one, and so I kind of like this page a lot, actually. And I think there's a few Chaykin pieces in this auction, Chuck, in case you were looking, but I don't remember what the other 1 or 2 pieces were. Then this one, I just thought this was a great piece of art from 1947, George Tuska. Something, what was the story? Crime Does Not Pay. But I love, look at this. Is it snowing? I mean, you can tell it's snowing, right? Because you can see the footprints in the snow. I just love the treatment on this page. It's great. I mean, I would never have guessed Tuska on it, but this thing is beautiful. I mean, it looks like it has a little bit of age damage there, maybe a little watermark, whatever. But so I'm looking at it now. The conservator was looking at my art, and she was critiquing like everything on the pieces. But I get, what the thing that mystified her the most, she had never seen Duo Shade before. And Duo Shade was that was one of the pieces that she had to test to see if it was acidic or not, and it was as acidic as all get out. So those of us who have artwork on Duo Shade may have a little bit to worry about in the future. But other than that, yeah, I thought I'm gonna probably put a bid on this one. I've kind of sworn to not show you guys stuff that I'm gonna bid on, but I like it. I mean, it doesn't remind me anything of Tusca at all, but I really like it. It's just a really nice page. I love this panel right here, and with the old whatever kind of what is it, Studebaker? Who knows what the heck that thing is? Anyway, great art, Tusca, 1947. Then Milgram again. Milgram basically gave Heritage all of his stuff or whatever to sell. I mean, that's why I've been seeing so much of Milgram's stuff there. But this is a great page from Spectacular Spider-Man 69. You got Cloak and Dagger and Spidey, and this crazy rain shower. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it's action in every page, and I love it. Look, Spidey on the last one here. I mean, that's just like a classic image falling into Cloak's cloak. I mean, look at that. Shoot. I'm sure this is going to go much higher, but if I didn't know that I wouldn't be able to afford it, I'd put a bid on it right away. I like this one a lot. Hannigan Hannigan Milgram, man, that's the sweet spot in Marvel for me. But yeah, I agree, isn't it? Dang it, Decent Eyes says, well, Prince Namor is always right. He's always on with the Spidey eyeballs, but yeah, man, look at that. The more I'm looking at it, I wish I owned this page. Somebody's going to be really happy after they pick this page up. Because, as we know, Hannigan, co-creator of Cloak and Dagger as well. So you get that kind of as an added bonus with this. So, yeah, I don't even want to leave this page. I like it so much. Yeah, this Paulo Siqueira, this was an amazing Spider-Man annual page. Just, I love his work. And there's he's got an interesting style. I see a little Travis in this stuff, but nicely done. And then this last panel was really the panel that sold it for me. Was a great image of Spidey here. I mean, that's just gorgeous. So nice one for somebody to add to their collection. Then I picked this Charles Adams. I mean, how often do you see anything by Charles Adams? I mean, it's a ballpoint pen. Well, I guess it's not ballpoint. It looks like it's one of those ink pens inside of a book. What was the book? It was a Charles Adams book called Monster Rally. But I don't know. I have no idea the Charles Adams market at all. But that's definitely Adams for sure. To chasing an alligator on this one too. I should be looking to pick this one up. But that's cool. I mean, that's just really cool. I mean, I never would assume I could ever afford a published Charles Adams piece, but this might be something that falls in somebody's wheelhouse as far as being able to pick something up. And they're as rare as a Dr. Seuss practically, right? So that was pretty cool. I picked this one because we talk about we don't talk a lot about it, but the Carol Day artwork by David Wright has some of the greatest comic strip art ever made. And I know this one said 1960s. I don't know why they don't know the date that it was done, but just love the inking on this. I mean, every single panel here is straight up gorgeous. I mean, look at the lighting, on the flashlight or whatever that light source is in the guy's hand, but it's just freaking amazing. Look at that. I mean, all of this is just great. So, man, yeah, I'd like to own this one, but I'm sure it's going to go for a decent price because it is so sweet. Only at 105 when I checked it earlier. Where's it at now? 160. So yeah, Carol Dayam. Yes, exactly. And nobody saw anybody on YouTube didn't see Sonny's. He said word. So yeah, there you go. There's some good stuff out there, Sonny. And Sonny, just most people are hanging out in the YouTube chat. So if you ever have the opportunity, head over to YouTube, subscribe to us over there, and then you'll see the flow of conversation going on as we have over 90 people watching the show right now. Let's see, two more pieces. We got one. Larry Stroman was mentioned earlier, and again, Al Milgrom. This is an X Factor page. On this one, I picked it just because I really enjoyed the layout of this thing. It's just interesting, all the horizontals here that make up this page, because he's got filing cabinets here. And it's just an interesting layout, and then you break it up with the figure. It's just it's just eye-catching the way that panel is laid out. And I just like the inset panel of the building, then the way that the heads in silhouette here. It's fun. I mean, it was just a nice page, and I know a lot of people are fans of Larry's early published work, and this is a good one. And is that Quicksilver? I'm not sure, but it looks like it. So yeah, nice page by Larry there. And finally, I just picked. It was weird. I went through it. I didn't find a lot of there were a few other home runs. There's a really nice John Romita pair of John Romita Jr. Spidey pages with Williamson inks that are really nice. But since I picked a few strips, I figured I'd pick another one here. And this is a Frank Godwin, Rusty Riley. And I always love Frank Godwin's inking work as well. And I thought, this is just gorgeous too. So yeah, see, I'd like to have this one as well. I should probably put a bid on it. But this was from 1953. So 70 years old. Well, don't want to make it older than it is, but very nice piece here by Frank Godwin. So those are my heritage picks for this week. Let me hide that screen. Let's see. Marvel fan says Heritage is killing me lately, letting go too many big books to fund art buys. Yeah, you definitely got to do that. Unfortunately, that's one thing that, I'm going to point out when we get to the auction recap and everything to go over Heritage. They have been dropping a lot of really good art in the Wednesday auctions. So I think it's just the embarrassment of riches as far as things being consigned to them, but they're able to put some incredible pieces in the Wednesday auctions. I think the last couple auctions for them have been well over 200,000, and typically, in the 2 years that we've been talking about Heritage and eBay every week, they're typically in that 120,000 range. So they're almost double that regularly now, and they're but this week it was odd. I'll be curious to see where they end up, because I just didn't see, at least in the past that I made through it, a lot of big home runs in there. But you never know, right? You just never know. Yeah, that Marvel 2-in-1 cover, just wow, exactly. So much good stuff. Hey, I'm just reading through the chat, so I don't miss anything. But yeah, so hey, as you know, after I do the Heritage picks of mine, I always give you the teaser promo to Nick Barucci's show, which is tomorrow night on the EXP at 7 o'clock. Just 1 hour of comic art related fun and art sales. And I know that Nick is doing something special tomorrow with a certain price and under show with a few other interesting pieces. So I will cue this preview up for you, and I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes.
Everybody, this Friday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, only four figures, we are going to have the original art experience. And the reason why I pointed out the 4 is because this week we're going to go back to basics. Every piece of art that's available for sale will be $400 or less. We are doing this so that we can get more collectors into buying original art, growing the community, and having fun with the community. Stop on by Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. We are going to offer some art for claim. We are also going to be talking about art. I have some art that I'm going to show that I'm not going to put up for sale, but it'll be fun to check out and talk about. Now, a little something. Everybody's asked me to have special pricing based on my nephews and my goddaughter. So there will be one item for sale that will be $22. There will be one item for claiming that'll be $8. There will be one that'll be $4. You have to tune in to see which is which. So let's get to it. We will have this Iron Man 2-page spread by Joe Bennett and Scott Hanna. We will have this Green Lantern Corps number 3 splash. We will have Ghost Rider 39, page 19. Amazing Spider-Man 535, page 15. And I love Ron Garney being inked by Bill Reinhold. We will have some commission cover art. Check it out. The Mighty Thor meets Hulk from Planet Hulk. We will have this gorgeous homage of Ghost Rider. We will have this Walking Dead commission cover art by Ken Hazer. We will have Avengers Academy by Sean Chen. Check it all out. Look at this beautiful artwork and more. And check out the Attack of the 50-Foot Leia, plus some other commission cover art, Gwen Stacy, Aunt May, Thor versus Submariner. And like I said, I'm going to show some art. This is not for sale. Not for sale, okay? Although we may add other art for sale, this is not. We're going to just talk about Booster Gold and the big DC announcement. Check it out. This is from issue 20 from 1986. It is gorgeous. I am in love with this. This is from the 2007 series. Plus, I'm going to show a little bit of Tom Rainey that's not for sale. None of this is for sale, but I want to just sit down and talk. Check out, you gotta love this page. Oh my God. Part of this is some of this art, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Kevin West, Jim Valentino art, was available on Monday night with Amateur Dueling Dealers with Bill Cox. And I thought it would be cool to bring some of mine on the air just to show. So, this Friday, February 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Every piece is $400 and below. And yes, there will be artwork that is $4 for Gabe's birthday, $8 for Joseph's birthday, or how old they are, $22 for Carly's birthday. I need to find one for AJ's birthday, but you got to tune in Friday. Hit that thumbs up. See you Friday at 7 or 4 if you're on the West Coast.
I love that music. I'm always head bobbing while the preview goes through. Thank you, Nick, for doing those as always. I might actually do a because Anthony always does those previews, right, for the Dueling Dealers, and I don't think anybody watches them. I mean, I hate to say it, Anthony. I look at it, you get like 10 views on them, and I might actually start doing something in the afternoons before Dueling Dealers, just because I'm bored. Whenever if I get 5 minutes, I'm gonna like pop on a live stream and do my own little preview of what's coming up without like giving it all away, but just because I see Nick do this every week. I'd like to do something, and like I say, I know Anthony tries, but I think I can do a better job doing some kind of preview. At least we know a lot of people get to see it. And no claiming in advance. Well, that's how it works. You can, but I'll be definitely tuning into Nick's show tomorrow at 7:00 over on the EXP. And you know what? And I'll be honest, this is something I might do this weekend. And don't feel left out if you can't do it. But I never have done this before, so I kind of always wanted to do it as an experiment. But you know how you can actually be a member of the channel on YouTube. So I was kind of like looking for a consensus on a few thoughts on something. And so I thought sometime this weekend, and I can't really say when it'll happen. It definitely won't be tomorrow, but I would say it's sometime on Saturday or maybe Sunday. I might start up a live stream, and anybody but it'll be like a members only one. So only members can see it even. So, but just do one where I just throw some questions out and just see what people think. But I'm kind of just curious how it works since I've never done a members only stream, and we have 100 members on the YouTube channel. So that'll help me kind of actually see how it works, because I've never done one. So I'm just, I assume I'm kind of curious, like, does the video disappear? Is it only shown to people after the fact if they're ever a member? It's a mystery to me. So I'm going to do one just to as an experiment. But again, I'm not going to announce it or give you a time. I'm just going to try it and see how it works. So anyway, so some of you will actually see that. And if you feel like tuning in to answer some questions for me, you can do that too. All right. Well, we can get on to the CAF update now, I believe. This is our usual way we like to end the show, of course, before we get to and just so everybody knows, Chuck Arnold is my guest art picker today. So we've got that to enjoy. Have I been going to theme parks a lot? Stanley wants to know. Actually, Stanley, I have not gone to the theme parks at all yet, since I've been down here for at the new house. But I told the Maureen and the girls that I would be getting annual passes for Universal by the end of this month for everybody. And because Maureen said if we buy passes, she's like, we have to go at least twice a month. And so that's a commitment. So I told her that, so I'm like, all right, I'll figure that out. And, I told her it would have to be on like a Friday if we were going to do it, because I wouldn't want to go. I would never want to go to the parks on a weekend. But so that is our plan. I'm going to probably pick up the annual passes at the end of this month for Universal first, and then just go, go have fun. Oh, Jeff, what are you doing down here? Why aren't you here next weekend, man? You should be here at my place. I didn't even know you were in town. We could have set something up. Darn. Well, we'll work that out another time, I guess. Let's see. On Murdoch says, I think it depends on how you set it. I know I've seen member-only streams that members can watch, and others where members can just talk. Yeah. Well, I've done a members. We did that art drop, the Bruce Timm art drop with Albert. That was a members only chat, but the stream was live to anyone. I want to try to see how things work out and what happens to the video on it when you actually set the video stream to only be for members. So I have tried the other way, and but not this way. So we'll see. But I have a fun time at Universal tomorrow, Jeff. I'm jealous. So my kids. No, one of my kids went to Universal since she's been down here with a friend. Anyway, all right, let's get this CAF update rolling. I am a member on CAF. Does that count? No, it doesn't. It does not. But I hope all of you are members on CAF. All right, CAF update 131. What is this? This is for the art period added to CAF or reported on for January 23rd through the 29th. And dealers had a incredible week last week, if you can imagine that. They've been pretty slow all year. But last week, for those dealers that I record sales for, they sold $387,000 in original art, and that's as compared to $203,000 the prior week. And top sellers, and it's kind of no surprise here, Felix did a pretty decent art drop, and he sold $127,000 in art. Anthony came in second. I didn't. I'm a little surprised at that, because he usually wouldn't. He had 131 sales and sold $92,000 in art. Bermuda Man next had $67,000 in art sales. Albert Moy 37. Scott Eater 22. Will sold 20, almost 21. And Mark A from Splash Page had 36 sales and $15,000 in sales. I think that was that the Sean Phillips art sale that he was doing for Sean's birthday? I can't remember, but yeah, usually I don't get Mark in the list, so that's cool that he made the list that time too. But yeah, $387,000. So let's take a look at the top 6 sales from the art dealers last week. And where's that queued up? Here it is. There you go, $387,900. And the top selling piece, I've seen this piece in person over at Berkey's house. This was sold by Mike. Asking price was $40,000 on this one. Bernie Writes and Pencils, Jim Starlin inks from Werewolf by Night 35. And Mike says it's the only Starlin Writes ever done, from 1975. And then a complete issue sold by Felix for Daniel Warren Johnson. This is the entire issue to Do a Powerbomb number 7. $35,000 on that one. Then a Hal Foster Sunday from 1940 was sold by Albert Moy for the asking price of $25,000. That is stunning and probably gigantic. Then this was one of Scott Eater's sales. $22,000 on this Jamie Hewlett Shade the Changing Man cover from 1991. It was issue 17. That is really, really beautiful. Then over to Will. This was asking price on this one was $20,000. This was a 1997 Peter Parker Spider-Man issue 86, page 1 splash page. And finally, Scott McCowan, sold by Felix. This let's see, it's listed as a 1602 hardcover collecting page cover for $12,000. As we know, Felix did really, 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 really well on those 1602 sales. I think, was it a complete sellout? I can't remember, but I think it was. There were a lot of prelims and covers and pinups, and I've seen Scott's work before, but wasn't really familiar with it and didn't really know the market. But pretty strong prices on those things, and they all sold. And they were gorgeous. I looked at some of the prelims while they were still available and decided not to get one, but I should have. It's not McCowan, Marcus. It's McCowan. I'll never live that down. Damn that James McLaughlin guy. Never trust him. All right, auction results. They were good. Auction results good as well. So the auctions finished at $419,000 last week. I mean, that's compared to $573 the week before, but the week before had that was a gaming auction from Heritage, signature auction stuff. So 419 is strong, but as it breaks down, eBay made up $154,000 of that, but Heritage was just the giant in this one. They had $265,000 in sales out of 292 lots selling. So that's really good. 70 and only 70 of the lots eclipsed $1,000. So just shows you, and you'll see, like, the prices on just a couple of these pieces were pretty darn awesome. But yeah, let me go ahead and play the auction clip here for you, and you'll get to see the first three are going to be from eBay, and again, 419 total. First artwork up here is by Ryan Otley, and it's from Invincible 137. You get the pencils on one side and the inks on the other. The selling price on this one on eBay was $5,000. Next up, we have this Ron Embleton piece, Oh Wicked Wanda, sold for $4,500. I'd love to get one of those pieces. I hate to say it. It's a guilty pleasure, right? That artwork is so slick and interesting. Next up is an Ivan Rice, Joe Prado Sensation Comics cover from Wonder Woman 3. This one went for $4,000. Then over to Heritage. This is the Russ Heath Combat #9 cover, went for $40,800. And now you know why Heritage had such a good week. Look at that thing. That is gorgeous. Russ Heath. I know I'm going to add something from Russ one of these days. Then we've got a Jack Kirby, George Russo, Sergeant Fury #4 page, went for $9,600. And one of the pieces I featured last week was this Frank Robbins, Frank Springer, Daredevil 155 splash that went for $8,400. So all fine sales there. But back to the McCowan pieces. You're right, Ian. Yeah, that and Comic Prior Boston said the prelims were very reasonably priced. They were. Yeah, they were all in that like $300 to $500 or somewhere. I can't remember exactly, but definitely, as Felix does, he likes to get the art in everybody's hands, as many people's hands as he possibly can. So those were good. And I agree with you on that one, Brian, that the Heath was stunning. So now the man of the hour is in the green room, ready to rock and roll. Been waiting to get this guy on the screen. He's smiling. I'm smiling. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Bill. What's happening?
Not much, but I am so glad to have you on the show.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy Chris gave up a week and let me come in and ramble for a little while.
It was a sacrifice for him, I'm sure. But
well, it's a real honor to be here tonight, just because, you guys have become such a big part of our family. We watch Dueling Dealers every week as a family, my wife and my daughter and I, and we just really enjoy it. And it's just become such a big part of our lives, whether it was meeting up with you all in Columbus or going to Heroes and meeting so many nice people. And, at this kind of point in my life, I know we mentioned it last week, I turn 50 tomorrow. Like, it's a big day.
Wow.
Yeah, I've spent all week kind of coming to terms with it. But
it's tough.
Yeah, well, it is tough. It's a challenge. But one of the great things is not a lot of times or not often in your life do you meet new friends in middle age. And I really feel like, I've met a lot of new friends who don't judge me because I'm going through and reading all of Comics Interview again. I mean, just by issue.
Right.
Right now I'm reading an interview with Carol Kalish, and it's just interesting stuff. And, comics is one of those fandoms that everybody's kind of accepted. I love comics so much, as you can see around me. Like I'm just constantly surrounded by them. So you're the same. So anyway.
Yes, I am. No, well, that's very insightful of you to say, that it's not often that people can become great friends in midlife, right? But in this hobby, we have that opportunity all the time, don't we? And that's interesting. I never really thought about that, but that's so true. I mean, it really is. I think I've made some of my closest friends, since I turned 50. I mean, I'll be 55 in April, so yeah, that's interesting. But that's
And
again.
We're all this similar age. We're all kind of like, there's 10 years older and 10 years younger. I'm sure that there's some 20 somethings out there, and that's, everybody's included, but we're all kind of have that same, like, there's a little bit of that shared experience that's there. And you brought that a couple of years ago when all of this started. You really brought all of that together. I mean, it's not a big group. There's lots of people that collect comics art that don't have any interest in this or any of it at all. That's fine too. Like, everybody kind of has their own thing, but this community has been is very special to me. Anyway.
No, same. And
Enough of that, right?
No, it's true though. I mean, every time I talk about the hobby to people, there's always something that always just makes us stand out from the other hobbies, whether it's the uniqueness to the art, or the friendships that are formed from it. I mean, it's one of the coolest hobbies you could ever hope to be in. And it's the undiscovered gem in pop culture collecting, and I guess it's better we keep it that way.
But the
you
fascinating thing to me though, Bill, is how everybody has kind of a different version of collecting. Like, they may collect, I just collect drawings of the Thing by anybody. Or I may collect, people think, for a while there I was like, well, I want to collect everything, and I want this and I want that and I want one, but then I was like, I can't do that anymore, because then I just it never ends. It just keeps going. So I've kind of whittled it down to just a few artists, but I'm an artist guy. Like, I didn't know people collected things of artists that they didn't know who they were, or like, it was always about the art. Like, people collect for so many different reasons. It's really fascinating.
Very true. I mean, there was I don't even remember who it was. There's a piece of art in last week's Heritage Weekly auction that I had no idea who they were or what the art was, but I was like, I like that piece of art. I should bid on it, and I didn't do it. But I'm going to go back and see where it ended up and look up who the artist was, because I had no idea who they were or what it was from. But it was just a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah.
I was like, dang it, and that is cool. I mean, I think, there's so many different ways to collect. But Mikhail said he's just letting you know that he wanted to see some tears coming out of you.
Oh, they were. But give me a second. Listen, there's a lot of tears that have happened this week. It's 50. Come on, man. You'll be there, Mikhail.
Yes, exactly.
But you just think a lot about the things, but you're kind of, as it comes to you, and as it inches closer and everything, you kind of realize that you've solved a lot of the. Anyway, this has nothing to do with comic art, but you've solved a lot of the challenges that you've had in your life, and that you've accepted that your life is good, and you've absolved yourself from all the stupid shit you did when you were young. And so, there you are. And then you're here, and you're lucky to still be here. There's so many people that aren't anymore. I have friends that have passed away one way or another. I'm not watching the comments because I know I'll just read it the whole time. So you'll have to show me anything that
I'm trying to multitask. Yeah, Mikhail's trying to tell us he's 58.
Yeah, when he has that beard on, when he has the
right, when he was the genie in the lamp, he looked about 58. But
well, those guys, I mean, it was such a great time at Heroes with everybody and meeting everyone, and then at Columbus, and Dino's from Nashville, so we have some Nashville roots, things that we chatted about from time to time, and so I don't know, it's really it's touching. So,
well, hey, did you mark your calendar for February 17th and 18th, 2024 already?
For next year? Yeah, I was gonna. And he's like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" We were initially gonna go to Florida this weekend, but some work stuff came up. But she was like, would you rather go to the beach, or do you want to go the next weekend and see Bill? And I was like, I don't know, but we're going to New York. Actually, I'm going to go to the New York. I like having a twofer, like for a vacation. So anyway, we're going to New York for Abby's spring break. Abby's my daughter. for anybody that doesn't know. And that's the same week as the Art Con, the comic Art
Oh,
Con.
right. Yeah. In
New
Jersey,
Jersey or something. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna hop on a train or get a car or something, take it over there. So I've always wanted to see that. So that should be cool. Sometime in March,
I haven't seen it in its well, last time I was there was probably like 8 years ago, but I mean, I've seen a lot of photos. It's definitely you got to do it at least once.
Yeah. So it should be cool. There was no Frank Quitely artwork, so I brought these ping pong paddles. These are Frank Quitely artwork. Frank Quitely Superman and Frank Quitely Batman.
When did you get him to do those for you?
These were a charity auction that he did. I guess in Glasgow, there's I never tell anybody when they come up for auction. They do kind of like they'll kind of show up, but I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to. When the first one came up, the Superman, nobody really knew about it. But the second one, a couple of people sent it to me. So they were like, oh, this can match your other one. I was like, oh yeah, I know about it. But so the second one cost me significantly more than the first one. Let me put it to you that way.
Well, that's why I said I'm never going to feature a piece of art at Heritage that I'm bidding on. I've learned my lesson.
Listen, as soon as I think about it, Heritage must have a tap into my brain, because as soon as I think about it, it goes up to $10,000. So,
well, I know you got to think for Chaikin art. There's always good Chaikin art over there. I mean, they've been getting some really nice pieces at least once a month.
That Black Kiss piece yesterday, I mean, that went high. I thought generally I've gotten, I was real fortunate to get that Blackhawk page a few months ago for a reasonable price, and that's I mean, $3,000 or $4,000. I mean, to me, that's a nice American flag page. But Black Kiss, I mean, I guess you just don't see that many of them come up.
Yeah, no, you don't. I was a little surprised at where that one went to. And you know what? I went back and looked at the Quitely search, and yeah, that $10,000 price was.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it went up that high.
It was you.
Yeah, and they wouldn't give up. They just wouldn't let loose. And when I think about those things, I'm like, whoever it was that was selling that, just call me. Just send me an email. And I'll give you $10,000 cash, and you don't have to pay the heritage charge for it.
Right.
It kept going up, and so it's my daughter. She's saying hi back.
I see her. I met her at Heroes.
Okay. See you, Annie. Good night. Sorry about that.
No.
She always laughs at me. It's become a running joke in our house when Mike says, "Oh, look, it's the sexy ladies," and so we see. Look at sexy ladies.
Oh my gosh! Well, I'm glad you can laugh at that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
And I saw Larry's talk about the Art Con in New Jersey. It is a one-day thing now, Larry. Just so you know, I forget what was the reasoning behind that. Oh, I heard it's a Heritage Signature auction that weekend too. So I think there was a lot of decisiveness on wanting it to be a 2-day from some of the dealers who were committing. They were like, wait a minute, I'm going to commit 2 days to be here when I should be following a Heritage Signature auction at home. And I think that led to the switching of the show from being a 2-day this time to a 1-day. But I could be wrong, but that was the rumor I heard.
I'm glad I got that information. I'd go over to New Jersey and just wandering around at some old hotel.
They did promote it as a 2-day, but yeah, I think last week they said no, it's just they switched it to a 1-day and didn't give a reason. But that was what I heard.
Okay.
Anyway, not that I am got my finger on the pulse of gossip in the hobby.
Oh, I think you do, Bill. You know everything.
I hear a lot. But yeah, so what else is going on? But yeah, no, it's cool, man. We got this. I saw you in Baltimore too, so that was fun.
In Baltimore. Oh yeah, Tyler, great dude. I mean, such a good time in Baltimore. It was last year was a fun year. I think I'm going to do less conventions this year. After Baltimore, I was a bit conventioned out.
I was too.
I was like, okay, I'm done here. So, but I'm gonna for sure go to Heroes this year. I was looking at hotel rooms today, but I don't know if I'll go to any others, as many as I did last year. It was just so exciting to be back out, right?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I will be at Heroes. I have talked with George Hodge, and he said that they're definitely going to be, planning a kickoff party again. They want to do it It might be at the same venue. And, the only thing I said was, you know, not to have that extra band on the inside, because remember how loud it got at like about halfway through. And I asked him that. I'm like, did the bar do that, or because remember they did it as part of that arts group or something in the area, and he said it was the arts group that brought the extra bands inside, not it wasn't like a normal thing for there. And I just said, well, keep the bands outside next time if you can, because we couldn't hear each other after a while. But other than that, that was a good time. So I do think that there will be a kickoff party that Thursday before Heroes. So if you can swing it,
I'll be there. It's already on the calendar. May have to work like last time. Yeah, it was so loud, Eric.
It was. But it was so good. Who cared, right? I had all those drink tickets in my hand, handing them out. We had a good time.
Good times.
But anyway, so why don't we look at some art? But I'm with you though on that. I mean, I maybe go to San Diego. I don't know, and I want to do the New York thing. But yeah, it was a lot. It was busy. It's when you have to travel all that often for shows, it does burn you out. And we have all these other outlets to enjoy hanging out and everything now. I mean that, but I'm sure I'll go to one of the big two and Heroes, and then I don't think I'll do Baltimore again next year. But it was fun to see it. Everybody's always told me about Baltimore, but so I'm glad I actually got to experience it.
Yeah, for sure, and got to see that beautiful piece of Arthur Adams art that Larry had in person.
Exactly,
it was worth the trip just for that.
It was. It really was. All right, well, let's get our art queued up here.
Let's do it.
And as you said, there was no Quitely art to be found. But you did find
John Byrne on there. Yeah, I'm a big John Byrne.
There was actually quite a few really interesting pieces that got added. I could have picked even a totally different set of the 10 that I got, because there was some different stuff. But so let me see, whose calf gallery was this from? This was from Paul P's calf gallery, and very nicely done. And here we go. I thought I could click on it. There you go, Stuart Immonen.
Yeah, Stuart Immonen. I think that this X-Men run probably set the tone for what Marvel art I think looks like now. I think, have you read this X-Men run? I know you're an X-Men guy. Did you read this X-Men run?
Which one was it?
Bendis wrote?
I didn't read this one, but I've always heard good things about it.
I grew up as an X-Men guy, and when he was coming on the book, I always thought Immonen was a good artist. Like, he kind of started off as a kind of Adam Hughes-ish, at the same time, kind of like Terry Dodson did. They kind of had this sort of Adam Hughes influence, but I think he's transcended those influences now. He has these great blacks. He's got a great inker that he works with named Wade Von Grobadger, I believe.
Correct.
And, his art is very expressive. His poses are great. His X-Men, he drew the classic X-Men and the new X-Men and all these unique double page spreads throughout. So I wanted to feature this cover because I just really love how this guy draws. I think he did maybe Avengers after this, but really nice stuff. And how just the black on the costumes looks really great. So really great artist, Stuart Immonen.
Yeah, the inking is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Rachel Dodson kind of style, but it's, I love it. Yeah, no, it's a gorgeous piece.
Yeah.
So I know.
Well, he did a full run, like he did I think of all new X-Men, he did, 30 issues or something like that.
Uh-huh.
It was a really solid run, and I think influenced a lot of artists that work with Marvel today. So what was that, about 10 years ago or something?
Mm-hmm.
Really great work.
Oh, there you go. Jason says Wade is rep by Essential Sequential. Very nice. Well, there you go. You can buy
for my birthday, my wife bought me a cover.
Really?
Yep, from not this cover, but
have you've opened it already?
Yeah, it's back.
You want to show it off?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, please do. My wife's never bought me a cover, much less any comic art that I can recall.
Well, she said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want a cover." So.
Ooh, look at that. Dang.
And with the all new X-Men down there. That was when they Professor X there in the background.
That is nice.
Yeah, it was, I gave her some choices, and this was the one that she picked. I thought it was a good choice. Yeah.
Wow.
We're tough to buy for collectors, because a lot of times we just kind of like, if I want it, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Christmas is always tough around the house. I'm always like, well, what do I need? What did I ask for? I asked for a grill set. Some tongs. I'm like, well, we just moved in the house. It's got this nice grill.
Yeah.
And outside of needing stuff for my hobby, that was what I asked for, and that's what I got.
Yeah, get exactly what But no, it's I have the best wife and the best family, so I'm really lucky to have them. And she wanted to do something special for my birthday, and I was kind of, I don't know. If you're turning 50, you're like, I don't know, I don't want to. I've had enough parties. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of that. So this is a gift right here. This is enough. And that piece of art, and the other 5 pieces of art that I ordered this week.
So Josh wants to know where you got that portfolio. I mean, it is interesting how you had that set up with your art side by side. Is that just an oversized portfolio that you got the art?
Yeah, I saw it on eBay. The thing is these Chaikin pages are large, and I've got these John Byrne pages, and they're all oversized pages, and so you have to order them separately from.
Because the binder
Amazon. It was on Amazon, but it's I don't know what brand it is, but it's nice. So you order the pages separately, and it's got like a ring binder inside.
Yeah.
So then you can. I can't see what that says, but I'll look it up and I'll send it around to what it is. But you can add pages, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to add pages to it, and then you can put 11 by 17 pages next to each other. So. It's nice.
Yep. Yeah, Marcus tells me I need to get my restoration professional to check to make sure it's safe for you.
I don't know if she's safe for you. She looked like she might be working.
She was interesting, but she was. I mean, she was pretty smart. I was like, boy, I'd love to see her and Jeff talk about art preservation and paper preservation, because she was like on it. But she was giving me a hard time about some of my stuff.
Yeah.
The thing she didn't like the Itoyas and the Mylar that was on the Itoya.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, that's why, I said, well, I follow the rule that Jeff told us, which was to also put your art in a proper Mylar inside the Itoya, use the Itoya only for presentation. And she's like, all right, well, that's okay then. But she said, I don't know what it is. She's like, I forget. I should have been recording it, because she was a wealth of knowledge. But enough of that. Let's keep talking about.
Yeah, let's keep talking about art.
All right, now this I did not think.
Come on,
but I didn't think you'd pick a Jim Lee.
You didn't? Oh, no. I love Jim Lee. Jim Lee was the guy that made me want to draw comics more than anything. I wanted to draw comics when I was a kid. I was just too lazy to do it for a living. Maybe not good enough. Regardless of that, Jim Lee. It was so funny because when I was 22 years old, I went to WonderCon. No, 20 years old, not 22, 20. Flew out to WonderCon and took my pages and was like, "Here, Jim Lee," like thinking he was gonna, hire me on the spot and fly me out to San Diego. No, I think Jim Lee of all of the 90s guys, there are a lot of imitators, and a lot of people love McFarlane or. Not as many people love Liefeld, but I think they all brought a new enthusiasm to comics. And it was something when we were getting monthly Ron Friends or Rich Buckler, kind of these boring blah, blah, blah. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just kind of jobber guys. And these guys came in and they changed the game, and they did it with energy and ideas and brought so much to it. Now, I can't say that they're all good reads, but they don't have to be when they look like this, to be honest with you. Look how he does Harley flipping around, and you see all of the different things and the lighting, and she's energetic, and you've got the big character, and then all the bullet things flying around. It's just, it's outstanding. So I think Jim Lee is one of the best ever. Like, he changed the game, you know, just like John Byrne did. Just like John Byrne and George Perez did. Jim Lee came in and, you know, he showed everybody how it was done. And he did it on a monthly basis, which is just incredible. How can you draw like this on a monthly basis? I've seen him. He does this stream. He does a stream, this stream thing. Like, nobody knows what that is. He does an art stream. He doesn't lay out perspective lines. He'll just kind of do this and this and look at that. And I mean, on top of that, then he found his mate for life, Scott Williams, who, that's when we're looking at art, we're looking at Scott Williams art, and Scott Williams can take what Jim Lee's done and make it into that. Scott Williams can't do that on his own, and Jim Lee can't do that on his own. What they do together is the symbiosis and kind of what collaborative comics is all about. It's beautiful stuff.
Man, why did I wait so long to have you on the show, Chuck? But
I was nervous. You know, I'm a little unnerved doing these sort of things, but
come on.
I have a lot of love and enthusiasm for comics.
You do. I know you've always been very passionate about the things that you enjoy in the hobby, without question. I mean, I agree that with you on that one, but yeah, no, but that's again, another thing that makes this hobby so fun. But I completely agree with you on the relationship between Jim and Scott. I mean, they were just the perfect match, and he continues to make Jim look great to this day.
Yeah, and look at the technique there on the gun muzzle and the shots, and you know, it's just it's really great. He's a great inker for a great penciler. You know, really, really outstanding.
Well, congrats to Dan Gallo on this pickup.
And a lot of these pages that I picked, you know, I'm not doing this every week, so I wasn't ignoring like where people like their commissions or anything like that. It's just I wanted to be able to feature artists that I really love, and I mean, I really love Jim Lee. I really do, and I really love Stuart Eminem. You know, I mean, I know kind of like, oh yeah, I mean, I think Frank Quitely is one of the best ever, period. But he's a great artist. I mean, all around. When you look at pages by him, he sees everything in multiple dimensions all at once. I mean, Jim Lee does the same. He's the same. Not so many, you know. Comics only gets them every once in a while, but when they do, they do. Let's look at this, and we'll go to this next one.
But yeah, Jason wants you to sell his art for him next time.
Jason, yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's do it. It'll only cost you a Frank Quitely X-Men page.
Oh, not one of those $10,000 ones, right?
Yeah, well, it is now. You're welcome.
See, we can blame you. It just takes one guy.
No. It was not me. It was Christian when he got into it and he started buying stuff left and right. But it's not him anymore. I think he's out of it, and now somebody else is out there.
Doggone it!
But you know, the thing about All-Star Superman as well is that pages from that, I mean, more so than like Jupiter's Legacy or even Flex Mentality to some extent. But one, they're so rare. But a lot of people, how they collect, they want, I want an All-Star Superman page with Superman on it. How often does that come up? How often do you see it? So when it comes up, you know, you go to the mattresses for it. I mean, I get it. I completely understand it. So I think people want a certain representation that exists. That is what I'm guessing is happening there. And there's just not as much art in the market. I don't think Frank Quitely wants to sell his art.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Sadly.
Yeah. Sometimes he sells it.
Yeah, but he talks to you first.
No, Joe talks to me. But yeah. Anyway, but not to me first. I'm out there with all of you. You know, fastest finger sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So should we talk about Frank Miller for a minute?
We can.
I mean, isn't he something? I think Frank Miller is another one of those guys that just is one of the best artists and best things that ever happened to comics. Like he has, you know, just fire in his blood. And I know his style has changed and, you know, some things kind of look a little bit wonky, and we won't even talk about the thing that he drew for that cover or the price tag on it. But like, you know, he's an artist like you know, Pablo Picasso, he's drawing from his cajon, like he's drawing from his gut. And all of this stuff was from the gut. I mean, this is such a memorable page. When Dark Knight came out, you know, I think I was 13 years old, and it just blew me away. Like it was different than, I mean, we've seen something like, you go to the comic store now, it's all Batman. Everything's Batman. I mean, it's like half the rack is Batman, Batman this, Batman that. But back then, you got Batman, you got Detective Comics, and then there was this new thing that came out, and it rocked my world. And it was so interesting and so different than anything, and so energizing, and it looked different. I mean, look at the, you know, to me, this looks as much like Klaus Janson as it does Frank Miller, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the shading on the faces, and then kind of what they were talking about here, like, oh, I'll never forget it. Like, I mean, I was writing programs. I remember H line and V line, and you do that. And I was trying to make a Dark Knight comic book on drawing on basic programming or whatever that was. I was trying to do these pages, but just, you know, everything about it. And look at the little gestures, the flick of the light, and you know, I'll never forget how long it took 3 and 4 to come out. It was just like, it felt I mean, it may have just been a couple of months, but it felt excruciatingly painful. It was one of the most one of the greatest comic experiences to have. And then the fact that we have these now, and you know, I don't own a Dark Knight page, and I don't, you know, at this point, I'm not going to spend $40,000-$50,000 for one, but that we have these artist editions here, and that we're able to experience that art and see it and learn from it. And, you know, I can only imagine, you know, there used to be such scarcity to these things. Oh, Tyler, I love you. There used to be such scarcity to these things. And now that there isn't scarcity, what are we going to see next? Like, what's the next thing that we're going to, like, you can see, you have all of this art and it's everywhere. And I mean, people, you know, they could do anything with it. So it's so cool to see this. Comics don't look like this right now. And maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe but I haven't seen any. So.
No, it's very interesting storytelling. You know, I mean, when you think of Chaykin, he'd be pulling you in and pulling you out. I mean, those first 8 panels here are all pretty much at the same, you know, distance from the characters. It's an interesting approach to telling a story. When you think about like the Chaykin method, where he'd be, you know, he would, his panels wouldn't look like that at all. But no, it's all about the dialogue, you know, in a way, and the imagery. It's so beautiful. And then you have that final half splash there. So Tony's very fortunate to have this one in his collection for sure. You don't need Batman when you got a page like this.
No, it's a beauty. And you know, these weirdo characters that Frank Miller started drawing, this little guy in the background that's back there with the weird eyes and the egg head. I mean, he started drawing these kind of oddball people, and look at the architecture behind them, and those little kind of they're just little bricks, and then there's an eagle on top of there, and just the hint of the windows in the background, and then the hatching, and then, you know, at the end that you decide to go with some white out. Let's just white something out there too. It's beauty. It's real beautiful. And that book is game changing. I mean, you know, there's been more Dark Knight, and it's just Batman. It's just somebody come up with something different for Batman, please. But than what Frank Miller did, what is that, 40 years ago? I mean, like, nobody can come up with, everything is just like the same. But I mean, Frank Miller talks so interestingly about the character, because he's like, you can do anything with him. You can bend him, you can make him funny, you can make him this. He's like, he bends, but he doesn't break. Superman, he has to be one certain truth, justice, and the American way. Like, he has to be that, or it's not Superman anymore. It's something different. It's dark Superman or whatever. But Batman's a completely different thing. It's really interesting.
And I did buy Dark Knight, believe it or not, and it was probably because it's just the format of the book that, the way it was bound, the paper, everything about it made. I was like, I got to read this. I mean, why would they print it like this? There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a great story behind it or something. I don't know. Or I'm falling for or maybe I'm falling for the first real gimmick in the way covers are done.
Or maybe. Well, one of the earlier gimmicks, like putting apes on the cover or something. That
apes were, very, very true.
But, I mean, think about it, like how yes, that perfect bound format. I mean, DC, Frank Miller was looking for a hit, I guess. This is just the stories. I don't know any of these people, but that I've heard is that, Frank Miller coming off of Ronin, although Ronin was supposed to be this runaway thing and people ordered lots of copies of it and then they were left with lots of copies of it. And he kind of was like, okay, well, I'm going to do this Batman thing. I'm going to do something commercial to kind of like bring it back.
True. Ronin was pretty much in the same book format, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was thick. It was, and I mean, the lessons that he learned from the storytelling of Ronin, which kind of came from that Lone Wolf and Cub and decompressed storytelling, where you'd have the guy getting out of the trash, 2 pages of somebody crawling out of a trash can or something like that. And that kind of staccato, I mean, all of that he took all of that stuff that he learned there. And I think a lot of stuff maybe from what the guys in the studio were doing with him, because he was in the studio then with Chaikin and, Walt Simonson. And what that did, again, you got the same thing that was in California when those California guys, when Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri and all those guys were kind of like, hey, I'm gonna sell more copies than you. I'm going to hire more teenagers than you, whatever it is. Like, Todd McFarlane's like, screw you guys. I'm going to sell toys. And
right. They're like, toys, that's going to fail. That's going to bomb.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a beautiful page and we're very fortunate to get to see these things, especially, in its raw format like that. Love it.
I agree. And so congrats to Tony on that one.
Oh, and, sexy ladies.
There you go. So this is was it Tad? Yeah, T-Tad's Calf Gallery by Bruce Timm.
What a beauty. I mean, Bruce Timm is somebody else that, like, he named the game. When Batman Adventures, when that show came on and those designs and those characters, I mean, that's the it launched 1,000 ships. We don't get Darwin Cook without Bruce Timm, and and I think Darwin Cook was one of the best people to make comic books in the last 50 years. But this Wonder Woman drawing, it's got a nice gesture. It's a beautiful drawing of Wonder Woman. But really, I just want to talk about how great Bruce Timm is. He did the Harley stories that he would do and all the Batman stuff. And he really has that like straight against curve. So this is kind of all curves, Wonder Woman. But generally, when he draws it, you get that really nice straight, even there with her legs straight against a nice curve. And, he does it so well. I don't see any flaws in this drawing, So.
No, it's good. Well, it's hard to find flaws in anything that he does, right? Whether it's colored like this piece, which is really, really nice, or just his black and white stuff. I mean, he's just brilliant. Everything's compact in his lines. I mean, he doesn't need a lot to render a really stylized figure that is immediately recognizable as a Bruce Timm, right? Yeah. So
interesting. He added the little belt loop. I don't think I've ever seen that on Wonder Woman. Look at the little belt loop.
You're right. I didn't either. Well,
clever, huh?
You figure he's just like, well, how else is it going to hang there? I'm going to draw a loop right there.
Yeah, and the little folds. I mean, the folds in the bathing suit there, and the all the highlights and the smirk on her face, like that kind of effortlessness of it. Also, it's kind of like if you break the shapes down. I mean, it's not. This is not what a woman looks like. You know what I mean? But it completely works. You understand the silhouette, and it all fits together. It's beautiful, beautiful drawing.
I agree. Very much so. And let's see. So Tad, we can get a like on that one.
Oh, this was a cover. Okay.
Was it a cover? I didn't even read
said it was an 80 years Wonder Woman cover. I just want to talk about Adam Hughes for a second. I remember, Kevin Maguire was the guy who started working on Justice League, and that was kind of, you know, it came out of Legends, and it was kind of this new Justice League, you know, where it was kind of funny, and it was Giffen writing, and Giffen was doing the layouts, and Jan DeMatteis was writing it, and when Kevin Maguire was drawing it, I thought, man, this is the greatest. Kevin Maguire, Terry Austin, I was like, this is the greatest thing. And then he was leaving, and then Adam Hughes came on, and Adam Hughes was like really something else. You know, this is old Adam Hughes, so it kind of look at the 90s hairstyles that everybody has. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he carried through what Kevin Maguire did with all of the facial expressions and everything, but then he really drew solid characters. So if you look, all of the silhouette that's on there, all of the spotting of the blacks, I mean, it's all beautiful. Wonder Woman's little legs kind of going out of the scene there. Just really great stuff. I think Adam Hughes is somebody that I always really respected and admired as an artist, like as a, you know, a cheesecake artist, and then also as a comics storyteller. He always kind of would take chances, which I always think is interesting, even up to now.
No, I always loved his older stuff too. I've got a
Maze Agency. That's what he was doing before this. There was a book called Maze Agency that he did with Mike Barr. That was kind of you remember that show Moonlighting? It was called Moonlighting, and Bruce Willis was on there. And so it was kind of Moonlighting-esque. It was kind of like they had their own agency called the Maze Agency, and Adam Hughes drew the first few issues of it. And I remember seeing those and just really thinking he was something else. Like, you know, just right out of the gate, he was great. So who was it? Somebody was telling a story on here the other day that they got a drawing from Adam Hughes, and then they said Adam Hughes said that he didn't like it. Just don't ever show it to anybody. I'm going to send you another one. What was that? That was on here, right?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Too many stories, but no, Adam. Well, just like Mikhail just said, Adam holds himself to the highest standards.
Yeah, Mikhail had a great Adam Hughes the other day on Monday. That was a great Adam Hughes Superman cover. Really good stuff.
Yeah, well, whoever comes to my place, I'll show off the Adam Hughes Star Trek page I got, because it's, you know,
Dead of Honor. Is that what that's from?
Yeah, Dead of Honor. It's twice up. It's got a great Captain Kirk on it. It's just gorgeous, though. I mean,
this is what keeps as I stay in my little lane here. Then I go, oh, a Dead of Honor page. Wow, that would be so cool. And then I'm like, nope, Chuck, just keep collecting what you're collecting. I'll admire bills.
There you go. Rich says it was his Mantis piece that Adam didn't want.
Yeah, that was it. I loved that story. It's a beautiful piece. I mean, you know, those Adam Hughes commissions are they're great, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just beautiful. And then when he was doing with Copic markers, there's a video that he did of him drawing, and you can watch him draw an entire commission piece from start to finish, that he released as a video quite a few years ago. I don't know. It was like through Gnomon Workshop or one of those things. Anyway, it's really great to watch, and he kind of talks about his technique and all of his using the markers and everything, the Copic markers. It's really great.
It's on YouTube?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like I got it from an art site, but maybe it was a DVD. But I think it's probably on YouTube now.
I will look around for it. Keep those likes going, as Nick Perucci just said. So next up, Mr. David Bixler.
Yeah, how about Norm Brayfogle? I mean, Norm Brayfogle was one of the first comic artists that I met. Besides Howard, there was a show in Nashville, and I met Howard Chaykin, and I won't go into this entire story of Howard Chaykin and Kevin Eastman and Barry Crane, and that's who and Paul Ryan were there at the first show I ever went to. But then we had this collector's comics place here, and Norm Brayfogle came, stood in line and waited for a piece of drawing by him. And he was just the nicest guy. I was probably 12, 13 years old. And he just talked to me about drawing, and, you know, here's how I draw hair, and here's how I do this. I always thought his Batman, the work that he did on Detective Comics was really great. He brought such a unique style. See, Mikhail? He brought such a unique style to Batman, especially around that time where everything was, kind of Dark Knight, and then you got Jim Aparo. No offense to anybody likes. I always thought that was just so boring. I mean, earlier maybe he had a little fire in his
sacrilege.
But yeah, I know. Don't get me started about Rich Buckler. Yeah, but I mean, after earlier he had a little fire in his belly, and Neil Adams was coming on and showing everybody up, and Jim Aparo kind of upped his game a little bit. But in those later years, when he was doing Batman, it's just so I don't know. I never thought it was very appealing. But to each their own. But Norm Brayfogle was doing something really interesting. He had interesting line work. He was penciling and inking himself, I think. And this was like that whole Clayface story, and it had all of the classic Batman villains. I really like this stuff, and I really like Brayfogle. I think he passed away just a few years ago. And so, wanted to saw this cover on there, really remembered it. I know that nostalgia is good nostalgia, as Chaykin always says, but I do have a little nostalgia for Mr. Norm Brayfogle here, so that's why I put this in here.
That's nice. We don't feature a lot of Brayfogle art on the show, so it's nice. It was nice to have this one on there. It's a solid cover, nice design. The ink work's kind of nice on it too, and I guess
it's fast, isn't it? Like he's working fast. He's doing it's interesting. In fact, like Tim Sale, Tim Sale. I found it. I've studied him a lot more actually in the last couple of years. After he passed away, and I think that I kind of see more of his influences and where the direction he was coming from. But it kind of also you're working on monthly books and you're under deadline. So how can I do this and do it in an interesting way and not, kill myself on everything?
Right.
I think that's what he's doing here. And it's nice. It's and unique. This didn't look like other comics at the time.
I already gave it my like. Well, so David Bixler, who has an incredible Batman collection, as many of you already know. Definitely check out his calf gallery if you haven't in a while, and if you love Batman.
Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah, this was a nice one. I thought about picking this one myself, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, boy, get that fat man's gonna get it, isn't he?
He's gonna get gummed to death.
He's gonna get something. All the skulls. You can't have this one, Bill. Even if it was gifted.
Nope. No,
that's the ongoing joke, right?
Yes.
Bernie Wrightson. There's a book that he has called A Look Back, and I got it in college, and it kind of went through his whole history. I think it was a reprint of it. I think it was an older book that may have come out with the studio, and this is when it came back out. It was in the late 80s, early 90s probably. And his line work, again, here's another guy that's doing monthly comics. He's doing a monthly book, and he's doing work like this. That's, none of that is by accident that's in there. It's all of the folds, all of the line work. I mean, he's spending hours upon hours for that. It's a real beauty. And, his techniques, it's 1972. I mean, what is he then? 22, 25? He's a pretty young guy at that point. And, he's just putting everything into it. Look at the double lighting on the zombie faces, and then you've got all of the shadows look right, and they're interesting, and it's and really when you go back and you look at his influence, which is like Graham Ingles and the EC stuff. I mean, he's doing Graham Ingles, but he's drawing solid. Graham Ingles figures everything was wonky and everything. Good artist, but kind of wonky. This is solid drawing, so solid underdrawing, and then all of this technique on top of it. It's just, it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. All that feathering right there on that shoulder. I mean, that when they printed that, where'd that go? It's mush. But it's gorgeous.
I like the
every bit of accolades he has ever gotten over the years. I only met Bernie Rice when I was not a little kid, but I was a teenager, and really, and met him. And it was not that great an experience. It was real weird. His girlfriend was there at the time, and they were making out, and he didn't have any time for us kids. It was the weirdest thing that ever happened. And I remember a friend of mine went, "I'm so sorry about that, Chuck," because you meet people and you really want to have this, you just kind of want to have your moment. I was pretty young, 18, 19 years old or something. But I've heard over the years really wonderful stories about the man. So I'm sure I just caught him on an off day, and he is one of the greatest artists that graced comics with his presence. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I love the kind of the differing style between the bed and the fat guy to the zombies in that heavier line. I mean, it's just lots of it's just an interesting dynamic. He was just a unique talent. I mean, the way he approached these things to kind of set the mood, and it's a great piece. So congrats to West on getting this one.
You can just stare at that all day. I mean, everything's just kind of coming out of the black there. It's good stuff.
Yeah, West got a few nice pieces there at the end of the year and start of the year. So congrats, man.
Sure, it was real cheap.
You're right. Buy them by the box flowed. So let's see. This is in DT Geeks, Calf Gallery, right? And DT Tube, not DT Geeks. I think that's what is that? Isn't DT Geeks like that's the name of his YouTube channel. But David Finch, Art T. Bear, Ultimate X-Men, 38 page. Great combo.
Again, here's somebody putting everything into it. I don't know, but doing it. He was doing it on Ultimate X-Men, but which Ultimate X-Men wasn't awful. I mean, I enjoyed it. But David Finch is and continues to be a really great artist that came into it 5 years too late. I think because look at that. Look at all of the, the movement in the water there, the structure of Wolverine, his anatomy is outstanding. All the little hairs that he's putting on everything. It's funny, that first panel almost looks like it could be an Alan Davis drawing too, which is kind of interesting. But you see his influences, you see his Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri and this obviously Barry Windsor Smith. But this could be exactly what they based the movie off of. I mean, this looks like it came right out of the X-Men movies. It's gorgeous. Yeah,
no, I love the line work on it. I love the different weights, the hair on his body to the hair or the water bubbles. I mean, it's just it's a nicely done piece. I always liked T-Bear's inking on pretty much anybody they ever worked with. He's just a really...
Look at that machinery down there. That could almost be like Travis Charade machinery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Solid piece all around. I've never owned
anything. And then up at the corner, he's like, "Oh, I'm so tired of drawing, and so I'm just going to do silhouette." But look down at the bottom. There's it was probably during the Iraq War or something. So there's a caricature of George W. Bush down there.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Operation Iraq Liberation. Yes. But no, very nice piece here.
Yeah.
And DT's collection continues to impress. How long has DT been on the site? So just a year, 1 year anniversary for DT.
Wow.
But a pretty spectacular collection of art that he's already shared on the site.
Well, that's a great.
Then from our very own Jason D'Ambrosio, he's got
this. Was the story that he tells on there? He's like, "Oh, I just kind of was helping." Who is that, Jason? The essential sequential guy? Yeah, and he's like, I just kind of gotta, I was over there helping him sort through all this artwork and just happened upon a Heroes for Hope page. Oh my God, this thing is awesome. I mean, I remember when I was a kid and seeing this, and I was like, what is this style? Like Wolverine looked like old Clint Eastwood, but now I can really appreciate it. The combination of John Buscema, who is the only Buscema, and Klaus Janson, and Klaus Janson is a really interesting combination. Klaus Janson does not hide behind anyone. He is going to, show his colors every time. So the combination of those two is a really fun and interesting combination. And this book was, had everybody on it. I mean, everybody, Bill Sienkiewicz and Frank Miller teaming up on pages, and John Byrne and Terry Austin, who hadn't worked together in years. I think Terry Austin inked his pages. I'm not sure. Maybe. And then that Arthur Adams cover, which is probably, one of the greatest Wolverines ever drawn. So
I agree with you there. Yeah. I mean, but that's why I've got Klaus on a sales show in a couple weekends, because
does he have the other page that they did?
No, well, there's a lot of art that came in from Klaus. So and Jason was like, our Jason in the chat was like, hey, maybe you should help them sell some artwork, get the word out. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'd love to interview Klaus. It'll be fun. And Klaus just celebrated his 50th year in comics, I believe.
How about that?
That's incredible.
That's amazing. Started the year I was born. Not that old, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Here you go.
You shared something.
Of course, Klaus Janson is very accomplished.
Oh,
yeah. Making my commercials.
I've only seen him once at a show. It was at Heroes, right? He was there.
Yeah,
he was set up with
Jason. He seems like, but he's a great interview, Bill. I mean, I've listened. I'm not going to go meet him, but he's a great interview. He's very affable. Every interview I've ever seen with him has been. He seems like the friendliest and very knowledgeable. Like just really theoretical. And about comics and comics art. He did a book. I think he did a book on comic book penciling or inking or something.
Really. Well, I haven't done my research yet, but yeah, I've heard the same thing. I've actually seen a few interviews with him too, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be interesting, definitely, to see what art they bring, because they talked about 50 years in comics. They were going to try to bring 2 or 3 pieces from each decade at least, and with different artists. So they were going to try to just really make it a really interesting sale by trying to hit on every point in his career. So I'm like, yeah, but there will be no Daredevil. There will be no Daredevil.
Right. But I love when he pencils and inks himself too, because the Punisher work that he did, like in those first few issues of the Punisher, I think with Mike Baron writing, and then you've got what else? Oh, he did that great Batman Gothic thing with Grant Morrison from Legends of the Dark Knight. There's some really great stuff in there. He was doing some interesting style work, like lots of cross-hatching in there and everything, but it's still, distinctly him. I mean, that 4th panel on this page is just, Wolverine and his, even with his arm getting cut off there, it's really great with his cowboy hat. Love it.
Yep. Jason, you scored with this one, sir. Congrats on that.
Scored. Good pickup, dude.
Okay, one last piece here by Mr. John Muth.
Yeah, this is kind of like, I mean, really, it's kind of a muted painting there. You get the big watermark in there, but I just wanted to talk about this book written by Walter and Louise Simonson with Havoc and Wolverine, with art by John J. Muth and Kent Williams. Before there was any Alex Ross painting comics, they came out with this beautiful Havoc and Wolverine meltdown book, and it was so surreal and interesting. And Havoc and Wolverine on fighting nuclear plants or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, this painting, it's all right. You get that it's Havoc. Again, painting a monthly comic seems almost like insane, but it's a nice piece, and I really love that comic. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that for a second, because I thought it was just so cool when it came out. When you get, it's kind of sometimes, and it was something I was thinking about today, because, and again, times change. So comics are going to be comics. There's always going to be people making comics, and Marvel's going to do Marvel and DC's going to do DC. And now that they've kind of become corporate comics, it sort of seems like everything maybe gets a little bit watered down. I don't read a lot of them, so I don't want to, offend anybody that works on them, because I'm sure, there's some great stuff out there. And occasionally, like something like Superman Space Age will come out and you're just like, wow, that's really great. But this is a time when Marvel, they were like, what, 25 years old at this point, right? Like in the late 80s. It wasn't really that long into their history. And they really took chances to do interesting things. Wolverine's Jungle Adventure with Mike Mignola, or Walt Simonson and Louise Simonson writing for John J. Muth and Kent Williams, a Havoc and Wolverine story. Yeah. It really was. You're right. Yeah, but those were for Epic. This was for Marvel proper, although this may come out through Epic too. But yeah, it was really, really, really great stuff. And Blood, boy, that I didn't read Moonshadow, but Blood really just, I thought that book was the coolest thing ever.
See, I didn't read Blood, but I read Moonshadow. So.
Yeah. Great books though. Really great stuff back then. Great stuff.
There you go. Matt says it was an Epic imprint, so Archie Goodwin is to thank.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool.
But that's right. Yeah. Archie, everybody talks about him in interviews, like so highly of him, and him taking all of the chances. And was Archie Goodwin, was he the Marvel Fanfare guy? Is that right? Is that the same?
That I'm not sure.
But I always thought Marvel Fanfare was cool too. Like it would take a lot of chances there. Anyway,
they did.
That's my 10 picks. I'm sorry I rambled on so much. I'm keeping.
No, this was fun. You did a fantastic job. I don't think I'll do as good a job, but I will try to follow up your picks with mine.
You do this all the time.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like riding a bike now, but not quite. Let's see here. I gotta switch my screen and get onto here. All right. So my first piece is, I picked this one because I used to own it. And now this is Aranga's piece, right? Is it? Yes, it is. In Aranga's Calf Gallery. This is like it's probably the second page of art I bought when I started collecting, a published page. I kept the first one. But this was I think it was either bought at the same time, or maybe I bought the one from a seller and then it came back up, and this page came up, or it was still out there, and I thought, wow, why did I buy this other one? I should have bought this one. So I went back and picked up this one as well by Ian Churchill, who I always really liked. But this is when they were putting the characters in their biker outfits and everything, and I was just like, hell yeah, this is the way the X-Men should have always been drawn. The stories weren't like super fantastic, but I always loved Ian Churchill stuff from when he worked on Coven and whatnot, and so just seeing his take on the X-Men and getting to see him dressed like this was cool. So, but I saw this piece of it doesn't hit you every once in a while, so you see a piece of artwork that you used to own and you're like, oh, I used to own that. Why
did they're selling it for twice what you sold it for,
or more. But Rocket says, "I'll take your sloppy seconds, Bill." Well, good for you. But it's true. You see stuff like that. As when you've been collecting for 20 years, you see that more often than you'd like. But yeah, I always love this page, and Morales's inks on Churchill were really nice, and again, just fun stuff. I remember this story, the way it started, because was this from the first issue when they switched to the costumes? It was just it just kind of threw you into it, with like no explanation, and it was an interesting, crazy way to kind of introduce you to a change in philosophy with the team. So, but yeah, cool page nonetheless, and very nostalgic for me. I don't have, so I don't have to. I'm not going to critique it in any way outside of that. But
that third panel, it could almost. I mean, that's it almost looks like a Quietly pose.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah.
And then this guy, I don't know whoever this guy is, Beast Boy here. He looks like what was the guy? Can't hardly wait. Oh gosh, what's the guy's name? He did Robot Chicken.
Yeah,
it's like how he looked at the time. I don't know. It's just so of the time. It's
warp. Is what Marcus says. But yeah, he was just some punk.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I'm looking at it now. I like it again. I do like this. But I still have a page, I think, from this book.
Is Ian Churchill? What is he doing now? Is he still around?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's working on.
Yeah.
Matt Kennedy says it looks like Seth Green.
Yeah, Seth Green. That's it. That's exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Seth Green, but Seth Green in like 2099, 2000, his rave gear.
Yep. Exactly. But yeah, congrats, Aranga. Sloppy seconds for you, pal.
Back when you could smoke in a Marvel comic.
Okay, now this one is in Comic Art Boston's CAF Gallery. Vincenzo Riccardi, whose work I wasn't really familiar with, although there's quite a few pieces on CAF, so I don't know how that's possible. But I just love all just the great detail in it, in the background for one, and then I really like the treatment on Daredevil here. Just kind of this fluid ink work. It looks like they're using some kind of white out or maybe a little bit of paint. I don't know what the medium is, but I just thought it was really cool, the contrast of the treatment on Daredevil to the way the background is drawn. I mean, he's carrying the white out or whatnot into the buildings a bit, but I just really enjoyed it. I mean,
what are these these things that they're like, these lines are just beautiful. Oh, I guess they would be reflections of like the sky or something, or maybe
right.
It's Daredevil's thing, his radar, something or another.
Yeah, it's just interesting the way the choice to do some of the ink wash bits in here or Copic or whatever it is, is reminiscent of what they'd get when they were working with the duo shade boards, right, for this background. Mm-hmm. So it's just cool. It's just neat to see, and again, I like the style of the piece. Excuse me, and I did a search on Vincenzo's just to see other pieces on CAF, and there's a lot of really nice artwork out there. So Daredevil in Flux is what Rick says.
I mean, it's almost too good for comics, like Barry Windsor Smith or something. Like there's just something, just really great and classical about the pose, like classical, illustration.
Yeah, the composition's just great, and practically overkilled the city behind him, but it's gorgeous. I'm glad he did. I mean, it's yeah. I love it. So congrats to Comic Art Boston. It's just it's a pinup.
It's like Windsor Smith meets Klaus Janson there in that inking. It's kind of fun. Yeah, pretty. Oh, and there's a color piece too. Cool.
Well, I kind of even like that.
Yeah, pops. Cool. Yep.
Congrats, Andrew, on that one. That's a great pickup for your collection. Then I switched gears a little bit. A Gary Frank Incredible Hulk page from 94. So I just like the composition of this one. I like that first panel, just just playing with the depth of the characters on there. And I've always liked Frank's work a lot. I thought I enjoyed his work on the Hulk, just kind of overbearing, probably too muscular than he needed to be. But it worked. I thought it was cool. And
talk about somebody that's grown as an artist. I mean, Gary Frank, this is good Marvel work, early Marvel work that he did. I always thought he was a little tight to me. Like he was drawing real, retentive. But once he loosened up a little bit with his figure work, that Batman stuff that he does now, and he did that Watchmen book, and he was inking those himself. And he's doing those books with Jeff Johns now. He is a great artist. He's a great comic book illustrator, and he works fast. And his work, I mean, talk about somebody getting art for a reasonable price. I mean, his art's not too expensive. I mean, comparatively to how good he is. I mean, because he's an amazing artist. Really great. Really great.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So
why did I leave
in my list at one point? So yeah, I love this. I love that Hulk. I love that period of the Hulk anyway, like Peter David writing. And, there were so many unique. You got Jeff Purves and Todd McFarlane, and then Dale Keown and Gary Frank. I mean, really, really, really great period for Hulk work.
Yeah.
His Superman, absolutely. He draws one of the best Supermans out there.
I agree.
I did such a likeness of Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, so I like this page. More looking at it, I was like, I really, I wouldn't mind owning it. And I'm not a Hulk collector, but I mean, it's about the art with this piece. It's really
and great storytelling. Look, I mean, it does, sets the scene, and then you've got the verisimilitude. That's what Chaikin would say. Somebody looking out at the reader, and then you've got the Hulk there, and then the big face. That's 90s right there. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to get real close up in here because I'm going to do all the drawing in another panel. So I need to close up to an eye or a face or something that I can draw fast.
Right.
But yeah, cool stuff. Really great one. Nice.
Congrats. Whose calf was this again? Oh, T Shen. Yeah, very good. Nice calf gallery there. And then Steve Lawrence, who always adds great pieces to his calf. Starlin, Rubenstein, Marvel 2-in-1 Annual, just a great. I mean, to me, this was just a nostalgic pick as well. I mean, just a fun story, just thrilling, and you get all the hey, the things on there too, and you get the Avengers battle and Thanos. I mean, just a nice page here. So I just had to pick this one just because I remember this story fondly, and it was just nice seeing this piece pop up on calf.
And what was this from?
This was from Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 2.
2-in-1.
So yeah, just good art, good, fun. I mean, period stuff for Marvel, right? Yeah. It's all you'd ever need. So what do you get? Malcolm commenting, still one of my favorite ever stories. I am jealous. It's true. But Steve's always been adding stuff. And there you go. Even from Dino, perhaps the best battle page from this memorable Thanos story. So yeah, just when I saw it, I was like, it just brought back memories of reading that comic. So this is just nice. I just love seeing stuff that I've remember fondly pop up on the calf and stuff. And this is a great one. Take No Prisoners.
It's got so many characters on there. I'm not a big Starlin guy, I guess. I can see the value of. I mean, he's fun.
His drawing's always stiff in a way, right? And I don't have a problem saying that, but his storytelling is what really carries it. I mean, Dreadstar was weird, but I mean, a lot. But I've always
he comes up with so many ideas. Like it's just this like I mean, I remember there was this book Gilgamesh too, which I kind of thought was interesting that he did. But this is the thing about Starlin though, is I don't think we'd have Michael Golden without Jim Starlin. It's like Michael Golden draws, if you look at that early Micronauts work, that early kind of like soft stuff, I mean, it looks like Jim Starlin, but with structure. I mean, I'm not trying to dog on Jim Starlin. I don't mean to. He's done a lot, and he's created some great characters and done some great work. And I know people really love his art. But I feel like Michael Golden really took that and kind of took it to another level, and really kind of like Arthur Adams did to Mike Golden. Mike Golden did to Jim Starlin.
Well said.
Something that I was just randomly thinking about this week that I can't tell anybody except the people that are here now. They may hear me, or they may
had this great
completely
thought.
Wrong.
Right. You have the thought, and you look around the room. Who can I tell it to?
Tell this to? No,
nobody. I'll just keep that one to myself.
On our morning call, hey guys, did you ever think that Mike Golden was here? Like, dude, what are you talking about?
Oh man, so this is a Scott Eder piece, and what is it? It's a Jim Mooney, and I thought this was really cool. A splash page from Batman 56, just fun stuff. I mean, very classically done.
1956, is that right?
56. What was the date? I didn't even realize.
Is that what you said? Oh, Batman number 56.
Number 56, yes. And does that have any other notes on it? No. What does he write here? But let's see. It says incredible Golden Age splash page featuring the talented Jim Mooney ghosting for Bob Kane. But I just thought it was fun. I mean, I don't know if it's ripples in a stat of some kind there. Yeah. But I love it. I mean, I love the style of this work, and Mooney's doing a great job here, kind of pulling it all together, making it look period-ish. I mean, look at the cop. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a DC guy, but I love work like this. It's like looking at some of those old strips that I pull up and feature from Heritage or whatever. It's just fun seeing that this style of drawing caricatures of people, and Batman and Robin in that period I always enjoyed it. They just look so odd.
They do, don't they? And the ears on Batman, the inking here is so refined, and I'm sure he did it fast. This was his. I mean, but look at that brush inking; it is beautiful. And I mean, looking at it, and if you just showed me this, I could also say, is that Charles Burns? Because it looks like Charles Burns ink work. Like you can see the
Right. I mean, look at these sawtooth in the shading on Batman's cape. Why? But it works. You know what I mean? It's just so, there's just so many interesting things going on here in the inking style, and again, the characterizations. I love this piece when I saw it.
Yeah, it's a real beauty. It's a real beauty. Artwork from that time is always it's always kind of a joy to see because it's so craftsmanlike. Like this is real craft. This is, we're getting it out, and this is real craft. Beautiful characterization on all of the people and the little cigarette hanging out of the mouth and everything. A lot of fun.
Exactly. I might leave a comment on this one, which I almost never do, as everybody knows, but I'm going to leave that one open for later. Next up, this is a Mike Huddleston for Powers of X #3 cover. So I just love the dynamic, poses, and I just love the energy in the piece. And then this kind of fluidity stuff that's going down here. The dripping has a Sienkiewicz-y kind of vibe going on with it. But I just there are two characters that are kind of like top for me in X-Men. I've always loved them both, and I just loved it when I saw it, and I just love the energy. I love it as a piece of art. I'd own this in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they're really you can see the Sienkiewicz in there, can't you, boy? I don't know this. I don't know this artist. Who did you say? It's Mike.
It was Mike Huddleston. Yeah, I'm not familiar. I mean, I probably stupidly not that I'm not familiar with him, but yeah, I just love it. There's a lot of stuff going on in here, and just the what he's doing around in here in the background to kind of fill out the page. I mean, and again, I like his treatment of the characters. It's artists approach anatomy differently, right? Sometimes they try to draw it realistic, other times it's just like elongated and whatever. I mean, we know, but it's just the way these poses are done. I mean, they're cool. I mean, I just love the way he's gone about drawing both characters here.
Yeah, no, it's really nice, really nice. I love these characters too. Love the X-Men. Really. Oh, look at that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's nice with the color.
So congrats. And who was it? Somebody I didn't recognize before. Anim Sketch. So someone with their identity hidden. But look at that. Somebody's got an avatar that's a shoe. That's interesting. All right. I haven't seen that one before. Ed M. I'm going to have to check out Ed M's calf gallery to see why he has chosen a shoe as his avatar.
Yes. To each their own.
Yes, exactly. Next up, Glenn Crane. Obviously, we featured a lot of stuff from his calf gallery before. He's got a tremendous collection.
Wow.
This is a piece of art by Ian Miller. One of my
Ian Miller, but that's awesome.
You what's that?
I don't know Ian Miller, but that's awesome.
Oh yeah, Ian Miller is amazing.
Fantasy artist.
For the most part, yeah. I discovered him from one of my favorite Tolkien-related books, and it's a Tolkien bestiary. And I mean, this is from the gosh, I don't even know when this thing came out. I think like the 80s, but and it's not all of Ian's stuff in here, but like, I mean, look at this stuff. The guy was amazing.
Oh wow.
It's hard to see in my little window here, but he was just crazy, the amount of detail. And then it's all just tight pen and ink. I have one Ian Miller just of a little dwarf head over there, and it's.
What year is he? Does he still work? What year is this?
I don't even know what this was from, to be honest. I saw it and I'm like, I want to feature an Ian Miller artwork. He said this is from the Eaters of the Dead, published in 1977.
Yeah. Look at all of that intricate work on the shield. You got it. You're kind of Arthur Rackham trees or whatever those things are there. But like, I love when they just leave it white, like the back of it, it's just kind of stark. And so it's almost like silhouette, but then there's all of this work in those silhouettes. And then that atmospheric perspective there on the hills or castles or spires, whatever those are back there. It's really great and stylized and super cool. Super cool. I don't know this artist, but I do now.
You should look him up because
I'm
really impressed. I'm trying to find like something here that isn't super tiny that he did that is from the book, but it's just all, it's phenomenal. The amount of detail and what he gets. I think, because I don't even know what tools he uses, but it's just, yeah, I'm looking. One of my favorite books ever, Tolkien Bestiary.
Thick magnifying glasses.
Yes, exactly. But he was at IX one year.
Oh wow.
Like I think it was maybe 8 years ago, and it was really cool to meet him and to see his art in person, because a lot of his stuff he does, he colors a lot of his pieces, and when they're inked and colored, oh my god, they're just crazy, because he would draw Ents, from the Lord of the Rings, and just craggly. You can just tell he has like this gnarly kind of approach to stuff, and unbelievable artist.
I remember seeing all of those books back in the 80s and maybe late 70s. It was funny when you brought up that piece, because there's a picture that I distinctly remember, this book about science fiction and going to other worlds, and all of these paintings and all of these fantasy paintings from when I was a kid. It was similar to the painting you're getting repaired there. So, and those books, like the Brian Froud books, like the fairies books and everything, that were so ubiquitous back then. Oh wow, that's amazing. Really cool.
Yeah,
Probably he's just using a rapidograph or something.
He's got it, but that would, my hand would be cramping halfway through it. But yeah, but look at the style, like he's drawing the anatomy there. It's just wavy. And so when he would draw like a dragon, it just had this fluid motion to it. And yeah, his stuff is absolutely amazing.
Cool. It's really cool. It's very cool. Very cool. And very cool that somebody can make a living, like living in their brain like that, Right. Like, I don't know. I love that.
Oh, so I picked this one just because I've been looking at so much Brereton artwork lately.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He's so good. Like, he's a great painter. When Thrill Killer came out, that Ian Chaykin did was so good, and so, like, I don't know, really cool.
His colors are like no one else.
Is this from Lady Justice? Is that what it said?
I didn't even read the title. Yeah, Lady Justice, the left cover.
Yeah. Just handing out money back then.
Oh God! And
he's a great painter, isn't he?
He is. And like you saw his shows in like a month from now, but he's been sending me like 2 paintings a week to show me what he's doing. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. I'll tease them before the show, but
yeah,
there's like, if they don't sell, it's like I'd buy any one of these pieces that he sent me.
A lot of paintings.
Well, yeah, the paintings. Yeah, you have painting. I'm not going to tell you, but his stuff is just so dang awesome. I mean, I have always loved his work. He's a really nice guy. I've talked to him several times at different shows. Just, I'm looking forward to that show with him. So when I saw this, I was like, it's not nocturnal.
It's so unique. I mean, what does this look like? Is this like who's the guy that did Red? Frank Thorne was somebody that I maybe thought like, oh, there was like a little bit of Frank Thorne in there with the characterizations and the faces. But I mean, he paints and draws better than Frank Thorne did, in my opinion. But like, I don't know if I ever saw Frank Thorne paint, but I always thought that Brereton draws better, but he has some Frank Thorne in there. But it's just so unique, and then his painting it's chunky, is what I want to call it, almost like not quite Leyendecker, but I don't know, it's beautiful. It's great illustration.
He does draw thick lips, Marcus. That is for sure. But that was in Jeffrey Moy's collection. Second piece we featured from his stuff. But yeah, I mean, he's just such a great illustrator. I mean, I didn't even see this Monsters piece.
Look at that. Cool.
And he's incredible.
Yeah,
I love his palette.
He has a lot of fun in his drawings. I mean, he always looks like he's having a good time whenever I see a painting by him. Like, yeah, he is. He is a unique talent. That is for sure. Look at Punk Mambo. Yeah, just fun, man. It's good stuff. So just a couple more pieces here for me. I picked this one early on. This is of course from Cerebus, and this is what is issue 75. Just anything from Cerebus I see I could feature. I just thought this was a really nice illustration. I really just always dug the way a character like this could make it to a comic and last as long as it did, and work. Did you read it?
I read it off and on while it was coming out. I didn't get into it as much as wish I had at the time. Yeah. I kept reading it because I had a friend who really loved it, and so I would pick up a copy here or there. So I think I was always just missing out on understanding why it was so great at the time.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the artwork, and that was the thing that got me was being one of the early independent books out there. I kind of thought that was cool because I was 17, 18, and I was just thinking, I'm going to draw my own comics and stuff. And it was so cool to see, to see these books coming out that even though I didn't at the time care too much about them, it was like, that's just so cool that people can actually do that, and not work for Marvel or DC. And then the art was just so unique. It's back to, I always had an appreciation for, you saw I like Ian Miller, right? So I've always loved Gerhardt's work in here more than anything. So.
And Gerhard was the guy that did the backgrounds. Is that right? Like there were all those.
Yeah. Tim would draw the characters, and Gerhard would draw the backgrounds.
I always thought that the backgrounds looked so great in there. But also, I mean, when Cerebus got refined into this style, I always thought, because I was a Ninja Turtles guy. I was probably a little young for Cerebus at the time, but I always really thought that his character, like that drawing, I always thought that looked so cool. I'm like, oh, and I was always ambitious, saying, oh, I need to read Cerebus at some point. And
so there you go.
I guess
Marcus wanted me to show the triptych here.
Oh wow.
But yeah, just gorgeous.
Yeah,
gorgeous stuff. Yeah, I love it. Huh. I kind of even like this one better than the one I picked. Oh, well, yeah. But Brian says, I read Cerebus for 8 or 9 issues and couldn't understand what was going on. And then it finally made sense. Yeah, I think that's why I never got it, because I always just picked up the books here or there. I never got them consecutively, probably. But yeah, great pickup here.
Here's our next thing, Bill. We need to do a book club.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's like that here. People just send me stuff when they realize I haven't read things or whatnot. So here's my final piece. You mentioned Kevin McGuire earlier, and for the very reason that this was just I just love this piece.
Yeah.
Kevin McGuire can kind of do no wrong, in my opinion, and even when he's not drawing Marvel stuff. But yeah, this was fun. I mean, come on, you get Spidey with all of his main villains here, and it's just only as he can do them. This is great.
Really, I mean, it's so recognizable. Kevin McGuire, like his work, and he's kind of made a cottage industry of doing the same, like Justice League first, the cover of the first issue, and with every character that anybody wants or whatever. But I mean, everything that I see drawn by him, from 1986 until now, not only is it instantly recognizable as Kevin McGuire, but I also instantly want to read it, because it just makes me want to, read that comic, that his artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It brings you in. He's great.
Yeah, without question. And yes, Ron, you have made it. So, and Ron colored it. I should have clicked over to there. There we go. This is Ron's colors on McGuire. Want to make something of it. But yeah, no, that was a good pickup, Ron. And what best stuff did you get? Oh, in 2021. Yeah, we'll see who gets some awards for 2022 soon too. But yeah, great piece. Added to Ron's collection. Ron's got a great calf gallery as well. Anybody who hasn't checked it out in a while should definitely do that. So there you go. Those are my 10 picks.
Beauty. It's so cool that every week there's more and more comics. I mean, it was very interesting looking through everything. I feel like I kind of got off easy because it was there wasn't tons and tons of on there. And then you have to kind of wade through there's some lots of big boob ladies or something that
they do. Yes, they do happen.
Yeah, to each their own.
It's, you can't fault the collector, right? It's like everybody likes different things, and
and they want to show it off, and you have given everybody an outlet to be able to show, let their freak flag fly.
Exactly.
So, Yeah, no, but it was really cool. It was fun to do. I'm a sad excuse for Chris Snorek, but
You are not.
I can run my mouth.
Well, it was fun, and hey, I'm going to sign off in a minute, but hang out for a minute. I want to talk to you for a couple minutes after the show. If you got, can you?
Yeah, I got time.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
Well, again, you can do this anytime. If you got the free time, we would love to have you on again.
I hope I love this stuff so much. I really do, and I'm really I didn't get to draw the X-Men, but I've made a pretty good life for myself. And just that I get to look at all of this fantastic art and talk to friends about it, and looking at it in silence or out loud here, I really love it. So thanks for listening.
That's true. And if you see Chuck at a con in the future, you definitely got to talk with him. He is an incredibly knowledgeable guy, and he is passionate about the hobby like anybody else. I mean, it's always a joy getting the chance to talk.
I love comics, and I appreciate that, Bill, and I appreciate every single one of you. Yeah, let's. It's nice. That's the other thing now. Just one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I used to go to comic shows, and I would just kind of wander around on my own and look at booths and everything, maybe go talk to artists. I mean, this last year, Mikhail, here's your tears. Like to get to just going to Baltimore and hanging out with Tyler and, walking around and seeing him interact with the artist, or having people, I felt like, when we were in the, there would be so many shows that I would go to a lobby and I wouldn't know anybody. And I'd be like, what am I doing here? And I'm too old for or something. And now I'm just kind of like, oh, there's Larry, or there's Michael, or there's Tyler, or Chris, or whoever, everywhere now. And so it's like I got friends all over the country now. It's pretty cool. Anyway.
Same here. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I'd still feel like I was a loner in the hobby myself. So I have all of you to thank for that.
Thanks, pandemic. Hey, you take the negative and you make opportunities out of it, and it's a big opportunity. And you did it, Bill, and
it worked. I mean, I would never. I was just doing what you guys want, what it felt like the community needed. That's just it. Was just rolling with what felt right, and
well, you're a legend.
People, you encouraged me. Sure. Everybody encouraged me to do more. So it's fine. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, hang out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, everybody. So I kept. Why do I tell you guys I'm going to be done in an hour when every show seems to go for 3 hours on Thursdays? But thank you so much for hanging out as always. One of these days I might actually get it right and say, yes, it'll be done in an hour and a half. But we always do find things to talk about. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me as always. And I appreciate Chuck doing the picks this week. It was a lot of fun. We should definitely have him on again. I'm off for the weekend, but like I said, sometime during the weekend, I will do a members only stream just so I can kind of feel my way through that, and it will be important. I'll have a few questions for people who happen to tune in and see it. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you have those notification things turned on, you're premium, or not premium, but you're a subscriber to the channel on YouTube, you'll probably get a ping or something letting you know that I'm doing it. So have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. On Monday, we'll have that sketch show, which is a first-time show. James will be running it, but I'll be there with him, along with Jason and Larry, and I forget who else was on that one because I'm a poor host, I guess. But we'll look forward to seeing that and seeing how it turns out. So have a great night and a great weekend.